So, 8th day of the season of the Twin Dragons. The party had made their way to the village of Pomchi, accompanying and escorting at the same time a family of half-giants led by a merchant named Boro. Boro and his family, beset by wolves, were rescued by the party. And in continuing their journey afterward, they also met with a familiar face for one of the party members, a half-giant known as Up-T, the younger brother of Up-Ang. Aiding them in repairing their wagon temporarily, the party finally made their trip, at least halfway, from the capital city to the small town of Pomchi. Entering this small village, they left their new acquaintance, Boro, and the brother of Up-Ang temporarily, to go and find dwellings for themselves. There they went to the Fur-Back Tavern, the chain owned by Black Scale, the adopted father of Serenity. With that, having made their entrance known to the proprietor and owner of the said Fur-Back, who nervously and happily granted them their best abodes possible, the party then made their way to the mid part of town where they met up with Up-T again. And in order to celebrate the small amount of free time now they seem to have, they all decided to head to the Trailback Tavern across the way from the Fur-Back in order to have a drink with Up-Ang. Hopefully, to a peaceful resolution as well, with the issues that Up-T has been having with his employees, so to speak. So, as you all have joined with Up-T in the center of town, you all are now making your way to the northernmost part towards the kind of business section of the town, surrounded by taverns and the other work areas. When you start coming up to that point, you start seeing the familiar sights. You see the Fur-Back Tavern on one side, and to the far left, you see a bit of a different design. Instead of the kind of traditional sense that you get with the Fur-Back of the tavern you most look forward to, this one, instead of the traditional site, is more of almost a rock formation. It is a solid stone make instead of the typical wood and thatchwork building top. Almost like it was an old chapel or an old building that was renovated and transformed into this current tavern that it is. The large sign on the front shows the kind of rhinoceros design of the creature known as a trailback, a creature native to Brax, the western continent. There you also see at the front 2 large wooden doors. Instead of a simple door that would open one way, it seems to go in towards, like almost a castle door. Apparently there seems to be a theme, or at least an idea of wealth and power, so to speak, to those who enter into this place. Though, at least according to the man of the Fur-Back, it is full of ruffians and no-goods. But it's hard to tell that from the outside of it. So, who is going to enter in first? Or would you like Up-T to take the front?
Well, we should discuss.
We're gonna break some skulls.
Are we breaking skulls, or are we?
My brother got cheated out of 150 gold.
Or are we just cheating them?
Well,
Because we could do that without
Yeah, that's true.
breaking the
Not as
place
fun.
up.
yeah, let's not go storming about. We just got here.
You don't want to make.
Let's try a somewhat diplomatic approach first. Kraken Skulls is always on the
Yeah.
table.
Or
I'm just
sneaky.
saying, again, if you want to sneak it up, my man.
Up-Ang
you've got
is
this.
willing to wait to
I-
see what happens.
I
I'm
know
sure
that you
these
love
gentlemen
using
will
your
be more
hood,
than
your sneaky things.
understanding to
So,
our needs.
by all means, like, I won't stop you. I'm just saying, let's take the subtlest approach first.
My brain went sneaky things or snaky things. I can
Well-
turn into a snake.
Same thing in that case, right?
Right?
Well, speaking of, I would like to disguise self.
You're going to disguise self? All right. What do you take the form of?
Whatever's most common in this bar.
More than likely, it would actually be more dragonborn. The majority of the half giants mostly drink at the Fur-Back. The exception would be the individuals you are about to meet. There is a good amount of half giants that come here, but the more common sight are the dragonborns because you get the feeling the Fur-Back is not as welcoming, which is odd considering who owns it. Um, though you did see plenty of unique individuals in the Fur-Back. You gather that's probably because of the issues currently between the Dragonborn and the half giants, and the Fur-Back seems to be taking more the side of the half giant right now.
Oh.
Just for this town, though. Obviously, the Fur-Back Tavern you guys have been to back in the other village is full of half giants. So,
So in that case, a dragonborn, but just like the most,
or Dragonborn, sorry.
just the most. I don't want to stand out at all. Whatever.
Unassuming.
Very
Unassuming.
generic.
Thank
Yeah, the majority of the scale color you've seen so far have been majorly white scale dragonborns and dark scale dragonborns. Other than that, you really haven't seen any others. The last time you saw like a green one, that was back in the last village you guys
Yeah,
were in.
wha-
So
whatever blends in.
Would
no, it's your choice. That's what I'm
Let's
saying.
go
Is
with white.
okay. So
Would it
you
be-
disguise yourself as a white dragonborn.
would it be
It's
at
good
all
to go
like
with black,
distracting
huh?
or stand out having my little pseudo dragon
Wait, no.
familiar with me, or should I disappear him for a little bit?
Black
Now
and
you haven't
red.
really seen a
Should
lot of
I
magic
disguise
practice
as a
outwardly
pet?
here.
Or am I already a pet?
However,
And to these guys, you would be a pet.
you are
They're all,
closest
like,
in
8
this
feet
town
tall.
to being at the halfway mark to
Let me
the
just sit on their shoulder.
biggest school
Play
of
me
known
off as-
magic
There you go.
and the only known school of magic, so to speak,
Also,
nearby.
don't drop my dad's
So it probably
name
wouldn't
around
be
here.
out of the ordinary for them to potentially see a student who has come down from the mountains, maybe to sneak around and have a little fun while they're not being seen by their teachers or the professors. So you could probably pull that kind of situation off.
Because I mean, one of the things it literally says like you can just temporarily dismiss your familiar.
yes,
So I could also
you basically
easily
have a
just
little
be like-
pocket dimension for your critter.
Yeah.
So once you summon it, it's easier to summon then until it's destroyed.
Right. So it's like I don't need to like completely dismiss him, but
Wait, hold on. What did you summon? I don't remember.
Last time around, while we had some time, I figured why let him have all the fun, and I summoned a pseudo dragon as my familiar.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
Old school.
yeah, and it kind of felt fitting given that I'm infernal and horns, etc.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, I'm just like I'm gonna tell him to go piss off into the
See,
pocket
I'm
dimension
gonna-
for a little bit. What?
So I have a name.
Junior.
I haven't thought that far because I've barely
Sheila.
incorporated him into play yet.
So I'd say let's go in and spot these guys, and because they're drunk.
Yeah, I
if they're
think
getting drunk later. If
we
it
should
doesn't-
probably follow my brother.
if we doesn't resolve, then you guys
Sit
can
on your
make a
shoulder.
distraction.
Done. Done.
Just like Pike and Grog, I'm
There you go.
gonna sit on your shoulder.
There you go. Yeah, I think we should just let my brother lead, and then he can. So,
I'm gonna sit on your shoulder.
Brother, I want you to talk to these guys. They owe you the money. We're here for you. See if they'll be reasonable.
It's not that I don't want to have the conflict situation. Obviously, I'm not scared of these individuals. The problem becomes the rest of the village. You see, these individuals are a little bit unique in their connections.
They're protected.
I have unique connections.
More specifically, Yeah. soldiers.
Ah.
In fact, they may or may not have worked under you at some point in your time there.
I wonder if I know him.
They are currently on a deployed mission for the king. They are envoys to the capital city. This is merely a stop on their way.
Oh.
I hired them, and they agreed. However, they made a compelling argument that considering their purpose, that they would be in need of more financial aid than I was originally able to give them.
Understood.
So that being the case, if you don't need to work with them any further, should we just maybe we should
If possible, I would prefer to avoid conflict.
So- Yeah. So off. What do we say when we're talking outside of the game? Do we say outside the game?
Above game.
Above game.
Mm-hmm.
Above game. We can just waylay them on the road.
We know that.
possible.
Is your brother coming with us? He doesn't
How
care.
well, I guess
We'll send him a
are we?
gift.
How
You're
are we
gonna-
planning
you
on
can
like?
give it to him
He
out of
does. We don't
pocket?
want him to have. If that's the path we're going to take, we don't need him to be connected because if it is true and the
So
village
just a
finds out,
revenge scheme.
it's not revenge. It's about money,
Well,
and we're doing what's right.
Well,
We're
I
being
was saying,
righteous.
I could just
In
go.
a sense, getting revenge for your brother, but at the same time taking the gold for ourselves so we can utilize it for our trip.
Exactly.
A win-win.
Yes.
Or I could just
And
pick
get
the-
me that badass, big old whatever the hell that was that I want.
Well, I could just pick their pockets. Is what I'm saying.
You can't pick 150 gold.
Why?
How can you pick 150? Oh, you
Well,
think
the
it's
It's
just
the
man.
dice.
You think it's just?
It
All
was
right.
Peter Pepper
So-
pickle,
so here's
pickled
the thing.
peppers.
Is that
I
not
support that.
reasonable?
I support that move.
It
but-
depends on how they're carrying it. To be honest,
Yeah.
you're not aware of how they're carrying their gold around.
And keep in mind, there's 3 of them, so there's a good chance that they have 600 gold. Did I fuck up that?
Right. So if
450 gold.
if you guys get them wasted.
How much does it take to get a half giant wasted? How much time do we have?
Yeah, that's
There's a
150
lot of
gold right
statistics
there.
here. Part of it, I don't mind catching up to them later. That just means that we have to devote time to tracking them and doing that on the way. That just, as long as that is also aligns with our plan, because
I mean,
I'm
are
fine
they
with
heading
not
back
having
to
your
the
brother
capital?
be associated with any roughing up
Totally.
of them.
Yeah.
What do we know about the military company that they're a part of? Because we also don't need ourselves to take the heat.
So what costs us nothing is to go in, grab a beer. I might know these guys, and I might be able to assess.
Didn't we just talk to them already?
Yeah, if I know them and I can assess their skill level,
Did he
I
know
might
it?
be like, "Oh, these guys are badasses. We don't need the."
Because we're these are the same ones that we just helped fix
Yes.
their cart.
So
We
you
brought them
already
into
have
town.
met them.
Yeah, we met them.
Oh, okay. Do I know them from the military days or no?
Well, for that, I'll have you roll a history check
Okay.
because that was a long time ago for a pang.
What do they look like?
They're half giants, so they're
Ah, you
Goliaths.
bitch.
One of them has.
So I get a 5 and I have a -1. That's a strong 4.
I mean, you
You
saw
have
them
amnesia.
point blank, and nothing clicked when you met them. Now,
Okay.
it could be very well possible when they worked for you, they were young, up and coming. Not even.
And they never said anything. To
Let's say
me
they,
either.
they probably weren't. They were probably just enlisted. They probably weren't even officers
going
at
on?
that
What's up,
point.
Winston?
Oh, is he watching you?
Mhm.
He's like,
He's like, I have
We're
food.
just checking each other
he's very food motivated.
Aren't we all?
Him more than most.
out. Have some chips and guac. The tacos are mine.
Oh, go ahead and eat, man. You don't have to wait.
It's
Oh,
okay.
I also have
Janza with steak.
some very good sausage that I'll share with you. Not sausage. What do you call it? No,
Pasta,
no. You know the stuff you cut, use it in sandwiches.
prosciutto.
Salami. But it's
Oh,
not
almost said bologna.
it's not the shit salami that you would get at a grocery store. This I actually got at a Russian. It's a long story, but I got it from a Russian dude. It's really good stuff. I know a guy. who
Salami
knows
from
guy.
a Russian
Russian
dude.
salami.
It's a long story. I got some salami from a Russian guy. It's just, just go with it.
It's good. I've eaten it. I didn't die.
That's a statement in itself, you know.
Yeah.
I think we need a whole
Yeah.
other campaign based off of that.
Yeah, right. Like side quest,
If there's any interest,
salami
I
quest,
can hook you guys
2024.
up.
Starring the Russian.
So we can do a couple things. We can just move on with our lives and
Yeah.
continue on the main
Go ahead.
quest. We could take this as a side quest and get a little coin, which is the greedy part of me is thinking.
I mean, I'd want to do that only because I
We
know
know
my
that-
dad doesn't have as much as he's portraying to have.
Exactly. And I want a badass weapon because I need to kick some more ass. You guys have gotten all the good stuff, and nothing has worked for me because it doesn't fit what I need.
Our good stuff is.
Okay, so it's
Double-edged
not great,
sword.
but it's
My good thing is he gave me armor, so now I went from 15 to 17, but I still can't do a lot of damage.
there's no jealousy, not at all.
I mean,
I'm
make me a
carving
health
my-
tank.
I'm carving
I'm a
my
health
own
tank.
path here.
Let's do it. So let's go assess.
Yeah, let's assess them.
I'm gonna keep my distance.
Investigation.
I don't need
Let's
hang out
can
with
we can check and just see.
Yeah.
Do they have a bulge in their pants that's other than what everyone
Better
thinks?
than their Russian salami.
Went from
Right.
Russian salami to
Do they have a
bulges.
Russian salami versus something else?
This
Well,
can
not to
only
mention,
end
are
well.
they meeting up
Or
with
is
more
it
of
a
their
million
kind?
food
Like there could
stamps?
be this could be
This can
three of
only end
6
well.
best friends, and the other 3 are in there waiting for them, and we're very
I thought-
outnumbered.
Sure.
So like,
you would have got
I'm fine with helping your brother out because that feels like
Well,
good
and
karma.
he seems kind of
and like
milk
you know,
toast
my
about it.
character's
Frankly,
kind of
he's like,
lawful.
they just wanted more.
My character's like lawful neutral. He like has
See,
respect.
that's the beauty
for
of being
insane.
chaotic.
So-
Oh, yeah, weren't you gonna ask
You
your
heard
brother
me.
for money?
Yeah, but I can't do it now. 'Cause he's been
You just got
suckered.
hosed.
No, I was just reminding
He's got suckered.
But
so technically, I'll get his.
if
money,
there's any
but
kind of
not
way that,
directly
like,
from him.
anybody can like magically track people or anything you want to like do.
You mean like an Apple, what's it called?
Practically.
Apple Play or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
like the
called.
little tracking
The
creepy
little
fucks.
thing.
Because
the air tags.
AirTag, thank you.
if there's a way that we can like track them out of town,
We could follow him at a distance, or the damn bird can do it.
Well-
Oh, there you
you.
go.
Well, let's go. Let's just go get
I mean,
Let's go in and go get a drink.
Yeah, let's just survey
scope
the
these
I can
guys
turn
out.
into like a tiny animal and
You could turn
hide
into a
like
bird.
amongst their things.
You could turn into a bird. for that
I
matter.
can also speak with an animal with
We
animal
don't- we don't
friendship
need
and
to
say,
lose
"Oh,
our-
yeah, you're the one thing we're supposed to keep
Yes.
track of. We don't need to use
Yeah, we
our
don't-
tracker.
That's valid.
You're not an air tag.
That's
If
valid.
anything, let's use the fake bird. Or
I could technically summon something."
All right. So while we stand outside the bar arguing over who's gonna do what, let's go into the damn bar.
yeah, let's just go make
I'm
sure
on
that
your
Tigger just
shoulder, so I'm yelling at
Oh,
you.
you're coming then. You're coming in. We're going in.
As you all enter in and push the large wooden doors open, you enter into definitely not what you would consider a tavern, more of a restaurant. All the tables are extremely extravagant, covered in a nice white cloth, and then pretty much spread out are a large amount of dragonborn, pretty much wearing some of the finest clothes you can see in town. At least they're not wearing like silks, but they're all wearing very nice furs. Winter weather clothes at their best. Nothing's dirty. The exception being is at the very far end of it, there is a small bar that pretty much at the very far most right part of the bar or of the restaurant is basically like a large half circle. And around that you see one, familiar faces of 3 large half giant bodies, kind of just with their backs turned. And then around them are just a numerous unique grouping of individuals. You see one individual who seems to be a bird folk, one individual who seems to be a goblinoid of some ilk, probably an orc. They're very bulky. And then the other 3 around the bar table are half giants as well, but they're smaller, more slouching, kind of familiar to like your brother, kind of more
Okay.
working individuals than warrior type individuals.
Farmers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you notice they're kind of off in their own business, enjoying that kind of almost a loud, crowded area in that small corner of the right, whereas the rest of the restaurant is actually being seated and waited upon by all these very nice, well-to-do dragonborns. At the very end, there is another bar, but smaller, kind of like a small half square, and there is just a single white-scale dragonborn dressed in very fine black and like a white apron over it, who is serving the drinks to the waiters as they're bringing them out to the individuals. So there's definitely a weird, like half and half kind ofness to this bar.
Where are our targets?
They're at the far corner right, sitting at the the loud part of the
So
tavern.
they're at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do notice that even though it is loud over there, it almost doesn't carry over into the other parts of the restaurant that you're walking through right now.
Like magically, or just
It
because it's just
Could be for those who understand magic. So it'd mostly be you who would understand this type of magic. So roll me an Arcana check.
I've worked on
God, I suck in Arcana too.
Yeah, you can roll that.
Well, I'll take a nat 20.
Nat
Oh,
20.
wow.
Nice.
it.
I
I'll
may.
take a nat.
I was gonna say I'm
7.
proficient in
7
that.
plus
Doesn't matter.
4.
Proficiency be damned.
Well, an 11's not
Sit
bad.
down.
From what you can tell, there's definitely some kind of oddness to this because it would definitely be loud. So you can guess pretty well that it's magically induced. You, however, almost instantly can sense and see the variance of a almost magical translucent bubble that is over the other part of that bar area.
there's something going on. Like, do you think it sounds kind of funny? Do you see that?
I don't see, but I hear.
Oh, there's like a bubble. They're doing something. So it's not. There's magical folk here.
Is it just the 3 guys?
Yeah, no, there are the three individuals you recognize. There's a bird folk, there is a orc, and there are
dude.
three kind of smaller, slouchier half giants that look more like older individuals similar
Are
to
they
the team.
all talking together?
No, they all seem to have their own group. So the three other giants, the old men, are kind of talking to themselves. The bird folk and the orc have seemingly nothing to
Is
do
he
with
a
anybody.
English?
They're
That
just
kind of
enjoying a
bird folk?
drink. And
So
then
like
the
a
other
flock.
three that you guys recognize are all talking to each other and kind of pushing each other and yelling at each other like you would expect of people who just made a big money and who are now spending it would
Little
do.
fuckers.
Is the bird folk one of the flock or a like a penguin type? Like, do we recognize
Yes,
what
yes.
kind of bird?
He is the majority of the flying folk or the bird folk you see in Gonto are going to be mainly penguins.
Okay.
The exception is if you meet the avians. Avians are the ones who have full-on wingspans that fly, but the majority of them stay in the higher mountains or at the School of Magic, which is where the majority of them stay as guards for the magic school.
Okay. And you said that the bird folk is the bartender as well, correct? Or is
No, he's a dragonborn. The bartender at the
Oh,
other
okay,
end.
sorry,
He's the one
I
in the white
completely
apron
misunderstood that.
and-
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
heard the part about the apron, but I think for some reason when you said in white, my brain started.
Yeah, so
going
there are two
like-
separate bars. There's a
Okay.
very kind of meek-looking, okay bar in the far right where all the loud people are and bubbled off, and then there's just a small, half-sized, very fancy, like marble table with the very fancy drinks behind him. That's where the White Dragonborn is, who's serving all the nicer stuff.
Okay.
And that's just like a small kiosk comparatively.
Well,
And then the magic bubble is only around the nicer bar in general.
The worst
or-
bar, like the more loudy.
it's
to
keeping
keep
the
on
riffraff out.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
yeah.
Okay.
So
and that is where those.
That's where those
half-
guys are.
Let's
yes.
segue over there casually, and
Yeah.
maybe seat ourselves close enough that we kind of overhear some of the conversation.
Yeah, it's a very
We
large,
want to hear when
large
they're
bar
leaving
table,
town
so there's plenty of space for you guys
Or
to actually
maybe
sit
get
at it
some
without being
insight.
next to them.
into their
Because they also
quote,
they do
unquote
know us
mission.
already.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not like
yeah,
it wouldn't
yeah.
just be like, hey, it's those fuckers.
Yeah.
Hey, there's up to you again. Like,
Is there, I'm just gonna go sit by myself.
all right.
Are you gonna hood up
antisocial.
first?
That's fine.
you're gonna go full sneaky.
I'm gonna go
I
sit.
look like a
I could turn into a
dragon.
mouse and hide under their chairs.
There you go. We're gonna go
Yes,
sit.
no, maybe so.
Yeah, go for it. You should
Mouse.
spread your wings
Alrighty.
or your feet, your furry little feet. Ultimately, we want to hear what these guys are doing when they're going to leave, and maybe find out a little bit about their royal connection with their mission.
Well, I can't understand them anyway, so I'm just gonna
Alright.
go sit by
Don't
myself.
get stepped on.
I go hide under their chairs.
I'll just sit relatively close by, nonchalantly, nothing
That was
Two
me. Sorry,
over the
babies.
top. Come back.
Sorry, babies. That was me.
Are you transforming in front of everybody?
I'm on his shoulder. Yeah.
Well, roll me a stealth check then, because you have to say something when you transform. It's
Shazam!
Yeah. I said poof.
basically I'm saying there's vocalness to transformation. So
Really, my wild shape has a vocal thing.
unless it states otherwise,
I can magically assume the shape of a beast that I have seen before twice for short rest. you can say
guess
in
there's
this
no
beast
vocal
shape.
then.
Yeah, that's not.
But it's still a matter of you shrinking
still gonna
down.
be
So you
weird.
still have to roll a stealth check to make sure you're not being viewed when you're transforming.
It'll still be weird.
Still not a common sight, even in this world, to see someone
18.
18.
Alright.
Hmm.
Doesn't suck.
Alrighty, the two individuals did not take notice of you,
Hey! Sneak under the chairs.
nor did the rest of the bar.
I'm too tiny.
All of a sudden, you got light on my shoulder. Yeah. Cool.
There's a little, what did you
I
turn
scared.
into?
I'm a little white mouse.
Got a little rouse. Dirt on your
Right.
shoulder.
They scurry on under their table so I can listen.
Like directly under the stool that they're sitting on.
Aren't they at a table or are they?
No,
at
no. So the entire part that they're in is just a bar table. It's
Okay,
just a
then
very
yeah, I'm under
long
those
bar
stools.
table. You don't speak giant, do you?
Oh,
A small detail.
It's a minor
I'm gonna go ahead.
detail, but it's
I
important.
forgot they were giants.
I'm gonna go ahead and
They
cast
might be
my
giants.
my translation spell again too.
Comprehend
And I'm just
languages.
gonna go
Yeah.
sit
I believe
somewhat
that you can
close.
cast that on an individual. I don't know if it's only self.
Oh.
So
Guys,
you
just
might-
let me manage this. I'm the only one that speaks the language. Let me just go sit.
let me
next to
double
him.
check.
Yeah, but if we
Listen.
can,
Touch the
if we
mouse.
can understand you
Don't
from,
step on the
from
mouse.
being nearby, that still is helpful.
Yes, if you can do that.
The
Touch the
duration
mouse.
you'll understand.
Otherwise,
blah,
you're
blah,
gonna
blah,
hear
blah.
half of a story. Yeah, we should do that.
I don't know. It doesn't imply that I can cast it on others. Although it doesn't say that I can't. It just says for the duration you can understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you
You
hear.
can.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
it does say
wording.
range is self. So yeah, so it's just you.
Oh, yep, there it is. Range self. Yeah, I was
Well,
looking.
isn't
Nope.
that what you want anyway?
No, I do. I was just curious if I could cast it on anybody else,
Oh, so yeah.
so I wouldn't just
Maybe
be
as
me
I'm
that can hear
under
them.
their,
Yeah.
maybe as I'm under those stools, just random thought, I could sneak into their bags and see if I find anything of
Well,
interest.
Actually, you're going to be off by yourself. You're going to go directly to talk to them with up to.
I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to sit close by,
okay,
grab a
okay,
beer.
okay. So I was going to say you can just hang out in my pocket and I can translate for you, and that way the second I'm like, all right, this is the plan, go. You can like sneak away, squeak away.
Okay. I'll
Squeak
do
away,
that.
squeakies.
Squeak.
Feel free to hide in my hair or something. I don't know.
All right, so
Alrighty.
what happens?
So as you all take your seats,
Kind of elaborate for an easy thing we're doing. 18 minutes later.
you do
You sit
notice
down.
those who are observing them. You do notice they do take immediate notice that you guys are there. They recognize you instantaneously, though they don't actually comment on it. They do acknowledge you. One of the individuals that you met earlier, the one with the long greatsword, stares directly at you and just kind of nods his head. You know,
I'll nod back casually, but not welcomingly, like I want to talk to them.
and then he turns back, and they all start kind of going back into their conversation.
Do they seem slightly inebriated?
Oh yes,
Perfect.
they've already been hitting it. You know, in the last 20 minutes, they probably
Hey,
had.
they've been using my brother's gold, those fuckers. All right, so I'll sit close enough, but not too close, so that I can, and I'll pretend like I'm in my drinks, focused on my beer.
Well,
Not
so let
really.
me know exactly then. So you have from where they're sitting, which is kind of in the middle of the bar stool area. There is a good amount of about 6 bar tables or stools next to them on the right that you guys are all sitting next to, and then that gives you about 2 to 3 distance you can work with comfortably while
Okay.
sitting near everybody else.
That'd be perfect.
So you want to be okay. So we're going with that
Like
distance.
within 6 feet of them.
Okay.
Because
Well,
then I can hear, like the distance that we're at, you can clearly hear, like right, you're 8 feet away from me. I can clearly hear
okay.
you.
So the rest of you then are taking the furthest seats.
Hey, shut up.
All right. So as you all sit down, roll me a perception check.
Okay,
See
I'm
if you
using
can.
my cheap dice.
I'm in his bag. I can't see shit.
Ah, you bitch.
Everyone
6.
Just, anyone who's trying to hear, though, for you
9.
and for you, it'll be a harder DC because you're further away than Upang is. So
I
for
got-
each distance, it
I got a
increases in
9.
difficulty.
I wish
What
it
are they
was better,
speaking
but
of?
it's not.
Giant.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well then,
9 Ishina Cabin.
9. Pidgewick,
19.
19. Even though you are technically a seat further away, you have a better ear than Upang does.
And I'm stupid, so.
Upang, you don't really pick really anything up. You on the occasional time you hear a word, usually it'll be a word of you first hear a word you recognize. You hear the name yet again spoken that was mentioned by the elders of the other tavern.
Why don't you come over here and just grab a seat, man?
All right.
That way,
Well,
they're not going to freak out.
You hear the name Borag, which catches your ear, but other than that, you
He's
can't
talking
quite
about his
hear
wife.
any other words.
Okay.
Whereas you have a little bit better time picking it up, though it's still kind of every other sentence.
Take what I can get because I can understand it now.
Why is it that Borag has brought us to this piece of dung of a location? And then kind of cuts off to where you can't hear again. And then the one to the furthest with the axe is speaking again. Who that's the one you heard earlier. He's the closest one to you guys of the 3. The one with the big sword is in the middle of the 2 individuals. And you hear again, I understand his idea, but why are we here? Why not out there where he's at? We could be more useful instead of playing observation. Like anybody's actually going to show up.
Interesting.
And then you notice they stop talking almost abruptly as you see the one in the middle now. He's looking up and staring at you and Uphang.
Why? I'm like in my beer. I'm not doing.
He didn't take notice of you, Uphang. He was taking notice of him.
Are you staring intently at them?
I'm not staring.
It's more of a concept of because he, like when you hear something, you're almost more attentive because you're trying to discern what they're hearing. So it's more of he rolled a really high insight. More of he's realizing that
As if I'm
you're
like leaning in with my ear.
It's more of even though if you're staring
Right.
intently in your beer, it's so obvious you're staring intently.
Because you're
into
like
your
not
beer.
drinking, you're
Right.
not moving,
Yeah, right.
you're just like, yeah, I
Or
know
just
that.
literally
I know.
Versus
sitting there
Uphang,
like
who is
this.
literally
Yeah.
drinking his beer and just like every
You're
now and then
drinking
like
your beer.
Right.
tilting his head like.
Totally unsuccessfully.
But to them, that probably looks normal.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. I have such good intimidation because it's based off my charisma. I almost want to, I just don't
Stare
wanna,
him down.
I don't want to start shit necessarily, but part of me
Stare
wants,
him down.
part of me wants
Why
to try to
not?
just look right at him like dead in
Okay.
the eyes and just like
How much are I
Wink.
talking? How much I talking to?
be like,
On Tuesdays, 280.
and I'm gonna look back to him and just be like,
At that moment, they stand up.
God, I hope this goes well.
They pick up their drinks and they move down to the furthest end of the bar table.
So, interesting.
But you noticed
I told you they
the
were
two
pussies.
individuals
Right?
on the right of the main one argued at first with his spoken in giant. It was hard to hear, but you got the gist of it. Him saying, "Let's move." And at first, you could clearly hear they both argued against it, saying they were comfortable. And just at a glare, they obeyed as soon as he looked.
So that's the big dude.
Yep, with the large greatsword.
Interesting.
I don't remember any of their names. I don't know that we ever learned them.
Don't believe you asked about the other two individuals, but the main guy was Nar-E.
Oh, okay. Actually, I might have written that down somewhere. Oh, I think I wrote Dar-E or something, but yeah.
Why are these guys so secretive?
Well, and they're clearly working with fucking talking about Borag over there. So I mean,
Now, who the hell is Borag again?
he's like he's like the Undying. He's like a really sinister fuck who you've fought multiple times and he's never died. Like he always like gets away and keeps
Whoa.
coming
Oh,
back.
this is okay. This is the full giant.
the Umbryl Giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
But
I mean,
it does appear that they have some kind of connection to that story you heard from the elders earlier about them having a sighting of Borag being around
So
this
they're on.
area.
They're here on his direction.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
At least that's what you're gathering.
Was
He
Borag-
couldn't
I
hear
mean-
exactly what he said about what the orders were, only that the other individual was unhappy being stuck here on observation duty.
So they're waiting on somebody. Interesting.
and then, do you remember?
Shut up.
Is Borag affiliated with the
No.
military at all, or
That's
is he like a bane of the military? What's his affiliation?
He's a bane. Like so, him and his
So these-
giants.
So technically, these guys are with the military, but they're also clearly working with Borag.
They're mercenaries. of some
Oh,
sort.
okay. I
They're
don't think-
mercenaries. They were mercenaries for my brother. I guess they're mercenaries for him somehow. Interesting.
It has been a common sight for those of you who've been on this continent for a while now. A lot of the half giants offer their skills for money. It seems to be the main way they make any financial situation.
I mean,
In their
even
culture,
if you-
warrior is the culture,
Yeah.
and there's no war going on. So what
Right.
do you do to make up for that?
Mercenary.
lend your muscle.
But now that there is the concept of a war possibly starting, there are more and more half giant mercenaries being spotted all over the place.
So with the whole familiar thing, that I can like hear through their
Correct.
ears, and if I have my thing cast, does that? I would be able to still hear what they're hearing, and it would still translate to me. Correct?
Yeah.
If I were to like,
If you can find a way to get your familiar near them without it being spotted, then yeah. But
Pretty
a
much,
pseudo
and then-
dragon is definitely not something commonly sighted here.
and then we're at like a long bar table, correct?
Yes.
One big long.
Just
bar
one
table.
big long, it's like a giant half circle from the wall to the other wall.
I don't know if he'd be able to crawl underneath the table too stealthily.
There is no underneath the table, it's just underneath the little bar stools. So he'd basically be crawling under legs. It's the only actual gap is the part where the bartender can come in and out of.
That's the only thing I can think of to not give up the advantage of being able to like hear them and try to like hear their plotting if they're that kind of further away. Of completely giving it up and starting a fight. They've clearly noticed us.
Yeah,
Well,
we
no,
suck at
I
being
don't,
stealthy.
I don't want to risk that. No, never mind. I will leave the pseudo dragon in his pocket dimension for now. Do I mean?
Yeah, I couldn't really hear him the first.
No.
How often am I allowed to roll another perception?
Well, now there's definitely like you at this point now it's more of a insight check versus perception because now you're looking at them from a distance, so it's more of can you see what
Get a
they're
vibe.
saying.
Okay, well, let me try that.
All right, so
Come
both
on,
of you
give me
roll
a damn-
insight then, as now that you're
Well,
trying to
because-
observe from a distance,
That's
you know,
better.
getting an idea.
I'd like to observe where their coin
Woohoo! 15.
Roll me a perception check.
My rolls are sucking.
I just went from one polar opposite to the other.
Did
11.
you get a natural one?
Natural 20 and a 1 in a row. Very nice.
Thank God we're not battling, right?
11.
I got a 15.
From what you can tell, because it was hard to get a good glimpse when they only stood up briefly to move to the other side of the table, the one who is in the middle doesn't seem to be outwardly carrying any coin purse. But from what you could tell, the one on the right, the furthest closest to you, looked like he had a small pouch, but definitely not something that could carry 150 gold. As for your 15, from what you can observe from their mannerisms, you can't, even though you speak Giant perfectly since you speak Giant naturally, reading the lips is difficult. And from what you can gather, the majority of what you see is simply them discussing again. You see the word for Borag is definitely clear, even in the lip sync, because they mention it again. But now you also recognize a different word. It almost looks like they were talking about specifically time. The term time was used. And then almost like they were looking at not more so watches, but looking at the time of day that they're in right now.
So it's going to happen today.
So it almost looks like they're waiting for a specific time of day. But it's hard to discern from this distance what the actual conversation's about.
Maybe we should scope these guys out, and when they leave, follow them.
I mean, now that they're onto us, like that's probably the best.
Well, you go back to beer drinking. They'll forget about us quickly enough. We didn't do anything, right?
I'm
It's
just
not
sitting there
uncommon for
drinking.
someone to listen.
I mean,
man.
fair enough.
I'm just waiting for y'all to do what you're going to do.
We're going to follow them when they leave because I suspect either someone's going to come in that I'm waiting on, or they're going to go somewhere.
All right. Until then, the black scale dragonborn, who is the one who is bartender for this part of the section, dressed in not in the same white apron, but is more dressed in kind of a more hand-me-down garb. They're wearing kind of a dirty brown vest over kind of a dark gray garment of a shirt. And as they look to you all, so I notice you all are standing here, but not ordering anything. Anything else I can get to you other than the one ale? Or is that it for you?
Round.
Oh, I'll absolutely have an
Oh, did I not order a drink?
No, he's saying the one you all ordered. He's like, is there anything else?
He's like, dude, you're being cheap. You nursed it too long. Like, I'm not making money off your ass. Just translating.
I wasn't
Yes,
trying.
another round.
Yeah, very good, very good. As he brings new drinks to you, you who are disguised as a white dragonborn you notice there is a slip underneath your drink where the napkin usually is.
Okay.
As you pick it up and look at it, it simply says, "Look out."
Oh, shit.
Wait, do you speak Dragonic?
Plot thickens.
I can read it for now.
I know it.
What do I speak?
Actually, do
I
I
don't
know?
think I do.
No, I don't know Draconic.
No, I know common.
Well, yours is active.
I know thieves can't.
But I'll assume that basically, as you saw him
Under
pick it up, you can translate for him because it is written in Dragonic, assuming you are Dragonborn. So that's why he wrote it in that. So,
Oh, can you read it?
but he
I
can.
can.
So I'll just say he understood it for
But you're a
you.
mouse.
I know.
I'm not exactly with them, but I will definitely walk past and subtly drop the note to them.
Yes,
Because I
it
have
simply
not currently
says "Look
associated
out"
with
in
them.
Dragonic, almost like, and you can tell that from your translation. There's more to it now. Though it says "Look out," there seems to be an underlying tone of a exasperation into it, written in the characters, to more give an exclamation versus a warning.
Like you're being an idiot kind of thing.
Basically saying it's more of an emergency situation of quickly look out versus just keep an eye out. So
Oh.
more like they're warning you something's about to happen very soon.
So so I guess so. Where are you going in relation to like having passed me the note, and like how are you maintaining your cover? Just because if we all need to dip out, but you're not like with me, I don't know how to subtly grab you without.
So I walked toward the bathroom and then I kind of walked back and I'm waiting.
I guess assuming I can kind of see where he is, I'll just say overly loudly to Upang like, "Hey, this note says we should probably fuck off right about now.
And I heard that.
So maybe we just kind of slam these drinks for funsies and take old Up Tea here to the bar across. Let's go back to the Fur-Back, huh?"
Upti, noticeably, is on his third drink. While you all were observing, he was sligging them down like, nothing.
I think I'd like to go out the back door.
And they were all three the size of what Upti drinks or Upang drinks. So
So he's feeling no pain.
yeah, he's pretty chilled out all of a sudden. His long day of work and travel has just gone by the wayside in his brain now. So as you all stand up and are attempting to vacate, he kind of looks at you all very strangely.
So he told me essentially what the note
Yeah.
said. Can I go out the back door? It says look out.
Also, would we know how much like gold?
But
to...
who gave the message saying look out?
The
bartender.
bartender slipped him a note in
Alright, let's
Draconic.
do it. We can always wait for the guys to show up. Right?
Yeah, if shit's about to go down in here, we won't be any good to your brother if we're in here and get way late.
That's
too.
agreed.
So
Then
let's piss off. We'll keep an eye out for them, but if shit's about to go down, maybe they're about to get theirs too. Who knows? Maybe fucking Borag is gonna come like smite them or some shit. Who knows? But let's leave whatever appropriate amount of gold for what the brothers 3, his 2, however many there were. Do we know roughly how much that would cost?
For the 3 drinks of up tea and then for the 2 drinks per person for each of you. Well, first I'll ask, is it just simple ales you all got? Like just
Oh yeah,
The
okay.
cheap shit.
nothing.
Okay.
At all.
Well, in that case, then it would be no more than a silver piece because it's basically 2 copper a drink. So
So then, considering the note from the bartender, I'm going to leave the gold piece.
alrighty, as you do that,
Spender.
he kind of just thank you for your patronage. Enjoy the rest of your time here in our quaint village.
We plan to. Thank you, sir.
Can I take a second to just see what's going on outside through
Well, so are
is
you
there
gonna
anyone like heading
before
in?
you get up? Then I'm assuming you're gonna sit still for a while, or you're gonna try to close your eyes and look while you're walking.
Not while I'm walking. Maybe as I'm exiting the. I want to go out back. I don't know if y'all are going out
We're
front,
gonna go out the front door.
which is fine. But
I'm still just hiding in your bag.
Yep.
I'm waiting for that signal.
Yep.
as I'm walking out back, I'll check it out.
Are you
Alright.
keeping me in
Roll
check?
of perception with the birds.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
That's
I
Yes.
forgot to Google what a pseudo dragon looks like.
that's a dirty.
In my mind, it is a tiny little flying dragon.
Right.
That is what I am going off of. But it is your dragon, so you design it as you will.
I more just want to know the size of it because if I also have a familiar, I might as well be like, "Hey, hold on!" Like, basically, let me like hold your shoulder for a second while I send my dragon up to get like a second pair of eyes on this guy.
30-20.
Yeah, it's a little dragon.
From what your bird is able to discern, there seems to be in the far distance of the village to the north past the church what appears to be a small snow drift blowing into town.
Is
Nothing I'm good.
You sure it's the good stuff?
But
Shit will want some.
other than that, you don't see
Real
anything that would
Yeah.
lift your eye up. A snowdrift is nothing unusual to see, though it does seem to be a pretty large snowdrift. So if there's a strong wind coming, that could explain
I'm good,
that.
but thank you.
You sure?
I'm sure.
I mean,
Like sausage?
There's the
I can
picture of him
smell it
next
from
to
here.
like a mouse, so it's not a very
This
big
is the
dragon
good
at all.
stuff.
No, yeah, it's a very tiny dragon.
So
Good kush.
This is the
yeah,
good
as
stuff.
soon as we're out of the front door, I'm basically gonna be like, hey, Opang, just for like a hot second here, I'm gonna put rest my hand on your shoulder, or I guess your arm. I can't tell how fucking high I can reach, but essentially, I'm gonna send my dragon up and get a second pair of eyes in the sky.
Yep.
And I'm gonna resummon my dragon and like basically tell him go where the bird isn't.
So if there's no ruckus out front immediately and nothing out back where I am, I'll just rejoin them.
All right. As you all reconvene, Upti is a little upset. I don't understand. I don't understand. Why did we leave?
Well, guys, there's possibly something pretty big moving in here.
I didn't even hit my limit.
There's a big snow. It's either a snowdrift or an army.
Hey, we got out of here because of snow.
Well,
Do you have? You're blind, aren't you? I'm sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, I guess you didn't see that we're standing on snow,
listen.
brother. Your companions need glasses.
Well, you can't choose your companions all the time.
Mm.
This is who we have.
Look, friend, he's got a magical bird. Feed him info. Trust the bird.
How many did you have? Because certainly you had more than me if you think a magical bird is flying over your head.
Ben's gonna just take a dump on this guy.
Look up, my friend.
It's hard to do.
You command the bird to shit.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Die, buzzards! Ah, like my day wasn't already shit.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, my friend.
Well, you have fun with your magical birds. I think you should have a little bit of a sleep soon, because you're far gone. I'm going to go home and have another drink. I have a good barrel that I've been saving. And going broke seems like a good chance to celebrate.
So was the snow
It's coming into the town, yeah, but you guys are at the middle point of where the shops are, whereas
toward the way of his house? Or
yeah, it's coming from the northern part where the church is at the very edge of town. So
well, I don't know. He might be walking into some trouble. I don't know if it is trouble or just snow.
He'll be fine.
What?
I think we got to keep our eyes on these three.
I
I'm
think
curious.
we need to go get our stuff. We were just told to get out, and that could have.
Do we not have our stuff?
That could
no,
have.
you guys left it at your
Yeah,
place,
we don't have
remember,
all of
'cause
our
you didn't want to
stuff.
carry all your
Shit.
stuff to the
Checked into
bar.
the Fur-Back first.
That could have made
One of us
get
stay
out of
and,
town.
and wait and watch, and the other guys go get everyone's stuff.
All right, who's staying? I'm assuming not Serenity, because
Right.
that's your guys'.
Well, she's on my shoulder,
I was
so
gonna say, so
technically
she
I can
can't-
take her
yeah.
with me.
All right, so who's
she
going to
can
stay?
Yeah, I'll be like,
I'll
all right.
stay because I understand the language.
Ah,
Bring me
helps.
my axe.
And I actually do for now anyway, so yeah.
Alrighty, so as the rest of you head back to the Fur-Back, when you arrive, you are greeted by the sight of Aragave again, who is just somewhat, uncomfortable at you all walking in all of a sudden. Welcome back. I didn't expect you back so soon.
He doesn't see me there because I'm still just a mouse on his shoulder. So.
Yeah, well, you weren't wrong at that other bar. We just didn't like it, so we had to head out. And now I'm going to grab some stuff from our rooms very quickly.
You're not leaving
you're-
us
you're
already,
with me?
are you? What?
Right.
Does
As you walk past.
Have
does he
you
seem
untransformed?
sketchy?
You're not there.
Are you Jared?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Damn it!
I'm a dragon.
Are you still Jared? Okay. Oh, just checking.
Yeah, he's
Um,
specifically talking to you.
Oh no, I'm like, I'm gonna be grabbing our stuff. We might be leaving.
So sorry for your abrupt leaving. Oh, hello, sir.
Hello,
If
hello.
you were looking for a place to stay, please give me a second. I will check our
Have
availabilities.
you heard any rumors lately?
Rumors? What kind of rumors?
You tell me.
I unfortunately do not know of any prevalent rumors that would interest someone of your station. Roll an insight check.
14.
14. He does appear to have some kind of uncomfortableness, but you can't tell blatantly if he's lying specifically about this or if he's uncomfortable with you specifically.
Surprised he's not freaking out that I'm not around with my group.
All right. Well, no rumor. Okay. Well,
Then
let's
the half giant isn't with us either.
Right. They assume
we'll just go
that
get
you're
our
with
stuff,
me.
I guess.
Yeah, let's just go load
Bring
up
me my axe.
as quickly as
Uh,
possible.
Sir, you cannot go back there yet until I found you a room and a key.
Oh,
No, he's with
fine.
me.
You're-
It's fine.
Oh,
Thank you. Just keep on moving.
Yeah, we're not stopping.
I'd like.
I squeak from
I
his
want to
shoulder.
keep. I want to keep an eye on the snowdrift inbound.
all right. So, how are you doing that? Because you have to actually stop moving in order to use your.
Yeah, as I'm in the room grabbing some stuff, I'll just take like a
Okay.
second.
So as you take a second to look through the eyes of your bird, you notice the drift has come into town now and has overtaken the church and has started to come into the middle of the town. Uphang, you start to see down the distance above the building line ahead of you in the northern part a large white cloud starting to billow over.
Does my danger sense kick in?
Actually, yes, it does. You get the very much of a sense, actually. There seems to be something quickly approaching and also something quickly vacating the nearest area. You start to sense that there is danger all around in both directions.
So I'm like, say, fuck these guys, and I'm gonna hoof it to the.
Roll a perception check, actually.
15.
15. You do notice now as this billow of white is coming in, you're starting to hear all of a sudden some kind of clanging coming in from inside the bar.
All right, I'll quickly pop my head in, see what the heck's going on.
Roll me a stealth check.
Oh, finally! Ooh, look at that, a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. As you casually just peek through the door, moving it ever so slightly to avoid the loud sound of the wood, you now see a interesting sight. Nothing new to you, of course, but to see it in this small village is shocking as the three individuals that looked like farmers and the three larger half giants that you were spotting all have pulled out weapons and have started pretty much openly slaughtering all the dragonborn inside
Oh, shit.
of the tavern. And the orc and the bird folk at the tavern at the far end are still just sipping their glasses as the bartender is also serving it to them.
Oh, shit. This is like a coup.
But the bartender who was on the other side is already dead.
The dragonborn.
The white dragonborn, yeah. The black dragonborn who slipped you the note is perfectly fine.
I've seen enough. I'm running to the hotel. Double time.
Alrighty. As you are huffing it, the white smoke of the snowdrift starts to pour into the part of the city and starting covering up the taverns that you are now entering into. So now there is just a large snow, almost a snowstorm, just bellowing outside of your guys' front doors. So, as you're entering in, you see a very quiet bar table all of a sudden as everyone has started to get silent. The other half giants are just kind of looking at you as you walk in. The infernals are just eyeing you as well, and they're all just kind of sipping their glasses now. The usual ones you saw earlier, the other when you arrived, are still sitting in that same corner, and everyone now is just observing you as you walk by. The bartender is shaking nervously as he is pouring a drink for one of the half giants at the front.
That's because this shit's about ready to go down. I'll just do a curt nod to the bartender as I head directly for the room.
Alrighty. As you enter into the room, you see the closed eyes individual of your ally kind of just meditating as he's standing still, while as your other ally is quickly gathering as much of the stuff as he possibly can together.
Sweet.
Finishing up as you've been gone for a little bit, so it's pretty much all together now, back into the bags and ready. Are you still in your mouse form?
Depends. How long has it been?
It hasn't been an hour, so.
Sweet.
I'll say,
Shit's gone sideways, boys. Something's down. Something's afoot. Be prepared for battle.
What do you mean?
They're slaughtering them all.
All the who?
Wait, what? Who's
What are you
slaughtering
talking
What the
about?
hell are you talking about?
All the Dragonborn are being butchered by the half giants.
I'll be like,
Time to change.
As you revert back to your original form,
Do we think she needs to stay hidden, or do we think we need
probably
to
not
Yeah.
a bad idea.
yes.
and you notice it wasn't all the Dragonborns, because the one that was behind the bar table seemed to be perfectly fine.
The white one.
But he wasn't helping either, was he?
George, white
Well, he
dragon,
helped
white
me.
dragonborns.
Were they all specific color? Was
Uh,
this like a race war?
No, the majority of the Dragonborns in it, they were a good amount of white Dragonborns, but there were black scale and
Oh,
there
okay.
were silver scale and there were
Okay,
gold
never
scale.
mind.
Was there
So-
I
anything?
thought it was just the
Do
white
I
ones.
remember anything differentiating them? Some clothing.
Roll me
Uh,
a history check for memory.
Oh, fuck, I suck at history.
Ha.
But the dice may. Or maybe it will.
No, it sucks. That was a 2.
They all looked just like some fancy do-gooders. Everyone looked like they were just, not interesting.
I'm stupid. What can I tell you?
Well, what I say is where there are dead bodies, there are gold coins.
That really was fucking important right now.
I will
Squeak,
prepare
squeak,
for war.
squeak.
Already, as you grab
Me
your
laughing.
axe.
Adjust my
I
loincloth.
wouldn't be surprised if you just took me off your shoulder and shoved me into a bag. Like, nope, you're staying in here.
Right.
Fine with you staying on the shoulder as long as you stand.
And I'll say,
We need to leave. Something's not right.
Where's your brother?
He went back to his home, so he's currently walking through the village right now.
Yeah, technically, he told us that he was heading home to have his fine casket home.
yeah, I think he'll be okay out there.
I mean, and he's a half giant. It seems like he'll be okay.
You guys want to stick around and figure out what's going on, or do you want to bolt?
Part of what I can't.
I don't
Because
think
we could go to your brother's
I don't think
house.
we're going to escape this regardless, frankly.
Well,
We
here's the
got
thing too: is that
kind of fucked up weather coming.
she's the one with like this supposedly safe quarters that we could go stay in, but like, do we know who they're targeting? Because are we not safe just staying inside with our heads down?
So
If we
let's
just stay in
I
our
think
rooms?
we
you
should-
know what? I think we need to go get the barkeep.
Send the bird to go and check out the bar.
But get this barkeep because he's obviously freaking out about something. Bring him back here and interrogate him,
All right, we can do that.
and I'll go.
I mean, that'll be in front of everybody. How are we going to?
No. I'll say, excuse me, my towels don't seem to be clean. I need to show you what's going on with them. Can you please come and take a look at this? It's unacceptable.
roll a
yeah,
deception check.
Russian sausage.
I just shit all over the place.
That's
God
different.
damn it. I'm
Oh,
sucking
boy.
tonight. Yeah, that's a 6.
We all trade D20s for the night, hoping it
I
works out.
apologize for the inconvenience. Of course, I will have fresh ones sent to you. You there! Go, help him.
And you see,
No, this is something you need to see.
I'm sorry, I cannot leave my post.
Sweet. Sweet,
Am I?
sweet.
Wait, am I? the
Would I
bird?
happen to understand mouse while I have this?
Am I looking at the
spellcast?
bird
no.
through the
Same.
bird still? Then
While you're okay, so you're looking through the bird right now. Then,
Yeah.
you're-
Alright,
so you're just.
so you're going
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
I
other
stayed
tavern
in
with the
the
bird.
shade.
With the bird?
I don't know. Yeah, I want to go see what he's.
You guys want any more sausage? I got a little bit left.
Well, the bird's not in this tavern. The bird's flying up ahead,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So where are you sending the bird?
to go check out the other bar.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good, thank you.
Roll me another perception check with the bird.
Birdception.
21.
21. As the bird flies down to get a view of the inside of the tavern, you notice one issue is there are no windows of this tavern except the far back where the kitchen are. But you also notice the back door is opened wide, and there are large footprints that are starting to have walked out of it, dripping little blood trails falling behind them. And you notice now they've pretty much just dropped a bunch of like rusty old weapons covered in blood, clearly this sized, made for half giants and bigger, just dropped on that back porch as they were leaving.
Well, can I see him?
They have gone into the snowdrift. So
The footprints.
that's what I'm saying. Is the immediate sight you're seeing is
Whoever
only because
was
the
in the
bird has
other
got
bar.
close enough to see that, looking for a window.
You can't
But
follow
it's-
the footprints.
Snowdrift.
Oh yeah.
So
Too dense.
the only reason these footprints haven't been covered up is because there is a little awning above where that door is. So the back entrance has an awning which has prevented those footprints from being covered by the snow yet.
So I'll command the bird to see if he can track down, not to go too far, but track down whoever's footprints those are, and then I'll just
Roll a
snap
survival
out of it.
check then for the bird, because that means
Oh.
he has to try to follow in the snowdrift with very poor vision.
What is that?
Survival. So it'd be
So
a
depending on the animal,
wisdom
I have
check.
specific languages. But the best way would be somebody who can speak with animals, which
Yeah,
technically
that's
I
14.
have
I
with
know, 'cause
itself.
there's clearly a difference.
The
between
bird has
comprehend
definitely
languages and
not
speak with animals.
Been
Yeah,
in
but
this kind of
giant elk
environment
actually
for very
doesn't have
often,
a-
so it is
a
very hard for it
language.
to pursue
And they
a
also
creature
can't
with
tell they
sight
can
only, because
silver.
bird does not follow by sense
Okay.
other than sight. So
Yeah.
trying to use sight in this is very
Yes, I
difficult.
got you.
It's able to follow a little bit outside of town, but other than that, it starts to
Like
lose
a
the
general
trail.
direction.
It seems to be heading towards the northwestern point.
Okay, that's good enough. And then I'll just
Alrighty.
also
As
You're
you
gonna
open
relay
your
that?
eyes and have
yeah, I'll relay it.
rejoined the group, what do you all do now? The other individual has sent the goblinoid you met earlier in the day. He sent him in, and he has replaced your towels now. So,
As he's done that, can we not kind of snag him and be like, what the fuck is
Yeah, don't you?
are you
have,
grabbing the goblinoid?
Yeah, we just
Whoever's
asked
coming
him,
in here, like the fact that a different
Does he
bartender
look
the other place
nervous?
knew, the bartender in here was all shaky and weird. Like, there's no way this guy knows nothing.
Yeah, I want to get the bartender and be like, you know what just happened across the street.
It's not the bartender; it's the goblin. Bartender
The
stayed in the
he
bar.
never left the bar because
Yeah.
he
I
could
couldn't-
roll well enough.
I'd
The only
suck at my
person who's
roll.
come into our rooms with us so far is this goblin.
Let's just
Okay, let's ask the goblin then.
That's what I'm saying, it's
Does he
like-
know what's going down?
Like I was saying, if you wanted to interrogate the bartender in front of everyone, you're welcome to do so. That's up
just,
to you.
It's too public. I don't want to go.
I don't mind. How busy is it?
It's they got the exact same amount of people that have been in it since you guys arrived, to the number and to the individual. Any new people have not walked in, and none of the people have left.
I
They
would
all,
do-
they all made note of us.
Does it
like, they all
seem
kind of looked at us as we
strange?
came in.
All of them.
Does it seem
So-
strange that everyone's kind of like waiting for something?
Oh, it's definitely strange. You don't need an insight check to know that clearly something is going on. The fact that nobody has moved an inch since you all arrived here, and you've been now in this village for a couple of hours. So
Yeah,
unless
that's
they're
not
all
normal.
just really enjoying their drinks,
Right.
most people don't stay at a bar for 4 hours.
I want to persuade the bartender to follow us back to have a conversation.
All right, what do you say?
We know some shit's going down, and something definitely went down across the street. So we need to know everything you know right now.
Are you trying to threaten him, or are you? What is your goal in this? Or-
I want to get information out of him.
So is it persuasion, or are you trying to intimidate?
I'd say persuade. For
All right,
now.
roll me a persuasion check.
19.
19. I'm sorry. I cannot help you. I must stay put. Thank you for your patronage. Please enjoy your stay.
Why does he need to stay put?
That is what I must do.
Who told you that you need to stay put?
That is my job. I must stay here.
Who's good at intimidating?
Something weird. Do it.
Do it. I have a +3,
So
but I'm
you
not-
are aware,
Yeah.
the DC goes up every attempt when you try to do the same thing to an individual.
Yeah.
So because he tried, then you tried. The DC is
If
much
I
higher
wasn't
now for
in
yours.
Mouse-
I haven't tried.
No, because you tried to persuade him earlier, remember?
Oh,
So it doesn't matter if you change what you're asking. Every time you try to do the same kind of check, which is persuasion,
Did he deceive
goes
or
up.
did he try to deceive him earlier?
Yeah,
tried to persuade him.
but that's part of the same concept of of a charm
we're
attempt.
screwing with him.
So-
effectively.
Chill, chill.
Are there
Basically, the more you
If I
push
was in a
something,
mouse,
the
I'd
more
try to talk
difficult
to
it
him because,
gets.
he's afraid of my dad.
Can I? Are there any like little either candles or torches or anything close to the bartender? Any kind of flames I could manipulate?
There are candles.
But there's so many people in here.
There are
I'm trying
indeed.
to. I'm trying to. I was wondering if there was any way that I
There
could
are
use.
2 infernals, 3 half giants, what appears to be 3 types of goblinoids, 2 orcs, and 1 hobgoblin.
I'm going to thaumaturgy my eyes pure black and look right at him and to try to intimidate him into being like, "There's something that we need to know." And you, sorry, that's not my favorite word. There's something. Yes, you might find yourself on the wrong side of our ire.
Roll an intimidation check.
22.
22.
I had another thought. This doesn't work. I'm just gonna hop off your shoulder, run around his feet, and try to get him to like stomp and have him chase after me. Like, come here, little mouse.
What if he rolls well and
Just
stomps you?
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
turn back into my form.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
when
all
I
happens.
wild shape, I
Yeah.
have the health of the animal, and when that goes to 0, I just revert back. But no, the whole idea is to make him.
I don't know
chase
that
after me.
Patrick knows that. And I'm like, fuck.
Believe me, I want nothing more than to help you. But there is something far worse than you, and I'm staying put.
I want to make
I'm
him
gonna
chase
poke
me.
my head.
He doesn't
No,
think
I
we-
want him to chase me.
as well.
If you value your charge, I recommend it.
So, how about we just go back to our room then, fellas? Just
Squeak.
maybe lock the door?
Nah, squeak.
An excellent idea, good sir.
Nah,
This
squeak.
guy
Thank
doesn't
you
tell
for
us
your
what to do.
patronage.
Nah, squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Notice-
Squeak, squeaking.
Perception checks for all of you.
Ah, squeak, 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 squeaking.
You're in a
Oh,
tavern.
fuck
They don't
you.
care about mice. This isn't a restaurant. It's a tavern. There are
What?
mice all over the place.
You got a
18.
5.
This is not that kind of restaurant.
You're not gonna let me try.
18.
18. You all noticed.
24.
Jesus.
You all noticed when he did his
You heard a gnat
intimidation
fart.
check. The 3 half giants and the 2 infernals all moved their chairs out briefly, almost like they were about to stand up
And deal with us.
or do something else. Who knows? But they all
So
took
let's go
notice of
confront
his
them.
attempt.
What?
Or not?
What are you
I
doing?
just
We
want
are
to jump off
outnumbered.
onto the
What are you
bar
trying
and
to
go
kill
squeak,
us
squeak,
There
for?
were
squeak,
like
squeak,
3 half
squeak.
giants.
There are 3 half giants, 3 goblinoids, and 2 infernals.
And they all were about to get up?
the
Yes.
5 that were sitting, yes.
7 of them are about to stomp us.
The 3
They have
goblinoids work
numbers.
for the bartender.
Wait, no. What
I
are you
have
thinking?
I have jumped off of your
For a
shoulder.
rogue, you're thinking very much like a barbarian.
Yeah, you've got
Alright, like,
wow,
I'm
character
kicking my
ass
roll,
tonight,
brother.
man.
I have jumped off.
I think
Even
we
the
should
barbarian's keeping
I
quiet
didn't
on this
I
one.
didn't understand.
He's the assassin who gets up close and personal.
I have jumped
Pretty
off his shoulder
I'm gonna
onto the
poke my
bar going
head-
squeak, 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 squeak,
I'm
squeak.
gonna poke my head outside.
With my
Your
little mouse
Pet
nuts.
seems to be trying to get your attention.
What? I don't understand you. Squeak once for yes and twice for no. Do you want me to go back to our rooms?
Squeak!
Cool. Let's go back to our rooms.
First, I'm gonna stick my head out the door. I want to see this storm. I want to see what's happening
Squeak,
outside.
squeak.
As you poke it out,
No.
the storm has gotten more intense now. The small snowdrift has turned into a full snowstorm.
We can't go anywhere.
Anybody out and about?
Roll a perception check with disadvantage because of the snowstorm.
Suck with my rolls.
Put that out too. maybe. Oh, yeah, with that roll too.
Fuck. Was that a 9?
6.
It's a 6.
9.
9. It's hard to see anything, but you almost feel like you caught a glimpse of a shadow out there in the middle of the circle or basically cul-de-sac that is the shopping district.
How big of a shadow?
Fairly big.
Like giant size?
Not quite the size of a frost giant or an Etin, but quite big.
Okay. I will share what I saw with the team. Something's out there, guys.
Fun side
Something's
note,
out there.
I know what an Etin is right now because the other day my son noticed my collection, I got the 3-book thing for the
Oh,
manual
yeah.
of the monster thing and all that. And he was like, "What that?" And I was like, "That's a book full of monsters." And he was like, "Let's read it." And I was like, "Okay." So we just started going through, and of course, every page he's like, "What that?" And 8 times we got back to the Etin, and I was like, "That's a big 2-headed monster." And he's just like,
What is
I was like,
it?
I don't know, but this is really cute. So I'm getting started early, but he's gonna know a lot of dragons.
That's awesome.
I know. It's
Good.
really
How old is he?
Good.
2.5.
My best friend since childhood, he just had his first kid a few years ago, and he's getting to 4 years old now. And he has gotten obsessed with Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Well,
Like, this little boy is always looking forward to the next episode. I'm like, you've raised him well.
I was about to say that and the Buzz Lightyear's thing.
Yeah, see,
I love
he
it.
is space obsessive.
More Buzz.
I love that he's already so talkative and communicative, and the fact that he loves Halloween and spooky shit. He talks about werewolves and zombies all the time.
Woo!
It's so good when your kids get into the right thing.
So I'm like, dude, let's look at a book full of monsters. And even there was one called it was like a mound of flesh with mouths all over it. And he didn't seem like weird. He was just like, what the
It reminds me of Peyton Oswald, I think is his name. He's the guy who played Remy in the thing.
Oh, yeah.
He did a comedy act, and one of his jokes was, "My worst fear is if my son turns out to be a jock and bullies me."
He's also kind of a short dude with dad. He's both a power nerd and very little. So
That's funny.
But anyways, yeah, it's just funny that of all the creatures you picked, I was like, I've seen that one numerous times after the weekend that I spent with my son, that he learned that I have a book full of monsters. He
That's
loves
great.
it.
All right, fine. We will go to the room. We'll hunker down. We'll guard the door. We'll be ready.
How much longer are you going to be in your dragon form?
He already dropped it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And when I heard they were all getting murdered,
I still think that
I didn't know if you had that
gives
as a
me
choice.
the hour timer. That's when
I
I
st-
revert back.
you know
I'll
what?
put the bird under a perch where it's not getting dumped on. And
I think
and see
you
if I
should.
can
I
see
think
them.
You
should
can
go out,
desummon him and
I think
resummon
you
him.
should check the area out.
I say, yeah. He's not. He doesn't die if you desummon him. You can just
Yeah,
resummon
you
him
can
without
put
the
him away
ritual.
for a bit.
He goes into a little
No,
pocket and then can
to put him
reappear.
out to see if we can see whatever he told us.
I was saying you.
I heard you.
I ain't going out there.
I mean,
I will.
well,
Then
don't you
can
have
still
like
communicate with him
stealth?
telepathically. It's just that you're not going to
The
get
bird's not going to
full-
make it in a snowstorm. There's no way in hell.
No, the bird is already having issues.
Yeah.
It
No,
is
I'm
not a
just saying that,
snowbird.
yeah, it's more that there's a difference between you being able to see through its eyes directly, of you being like, I see what you see, and it just being like, hey, bird, give me a mental squawk when shit seems weird.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I was
you can still
trying to
communicate
look
with
through
it.
his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now
I
he
mean,
can't see anything. The snowstorm has gotten so bad he can't see a
I'll
thing.
sneak out there and check it out.
I would say if you wanted, he could try to fly up way up,
No,
above, but then he won't be able to see much.
no.
Just the
No, you don't
basically
need
the
to
outer
have
part of the
him die.
village.
I mean, I'll sneak out there and see what's going on. I don't think we should
Stealth it,
just
brother.
hide
Stealth
in
it.
the
Agreed.
room, like a
Agreed.
bunch
We
of
need
wussies.
we need some information. We know
Yes,
what
we
the
do
hell's
need
going on.
info.
There's some weird shit going down.
All right, roll me a stealth check
With advantage.
as you put the cloak on. You notice as you walk out too, the cloak actually
14.
changes colors
What's
Oh.
that?
and becomes bright
white.
white.
14 plus what? 19. That's cool.
19. As you sneak out of the bar out through the back entrance, you notice one, it is freezing cold.
Yeah.
Unnatural.
The temperature, yeah, no, like the natural weather you get here, but below zero has hit as the nighttime falls in a snowstorm. So in a little while here, if you're out here too long, I'm gonna have to make you have some rolls.
Yeah, I don't need to be out there.
But as you sneak out and into kind of the big area of the alleyways and into kind of the area where you guys all came from originally, I'm assuming you're heading towards where the bar was, or are you keeping towards the sides of the village? Like, are you going back into the middle of town where you guys were originally, or are you
I'm going
trying?
to keep to the sides and the shadows, but toward where he told me the shadow.
Oh,
Maybe
that's what I'm
it
saying. Because he
was
looked into
Toward
the
town.
middle of the town.
Towards town.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I should probably check that out.
Yeah, just kind of sneak
All
around
right.
the walls.
So as you walk out into there, and walk just a few feet into the center where the original part of the kind of fanciful statue that originally was there was portrayed in between them. The statue, also, you guys, I don't know if anyone knows, but the statue in the middle is a statue of uh, the large kind of dragon design of Dirge. I think I mentioned that when you guys arrived.
Yeah, you did tell us that.
Yeah. But you notice as you're walking towards that statue in the middle of the center, you kind of fall briefly, not like a long fall, like a foot deep fall, almost 2 feet deep into the snow of a large divot. And you notice it is a large circular divot. And you notice just a few feet away, it's hard to see, but there seems to be the start of another divot. Almost like footprints.
Oh damn!
How big?
Probably around 4 feet wide. So
That's a big ass whatever.
So I'll take note of which direction they're going.
they seem to be heading downward into the far southern part of the town.
Where we were.
No, where the where you all entered into, where the shopping district and the place, like all the villagers of the average live. So the average people.
So I feel like I can get there without freezing.
I mean, you can try. You can always try. You have a lot of varying experience when it comes to cold. You know it's freezing, but you also know you have at least enough wear on you right now that you're not dead yet. So
You can make it for a bit.
I'd
I'd be curious what the
it's
hell's
up to
going
your
on.
interpretation if you think you can make it forward.
What the hell happened to Dragonborn is what I want to know.
Yeah, I was gonna go ask the bartender too. That
Yeah,
But
that's
isn't
not
he
bad.
dead?
Do you want to head over to
he's
the
not
bar?
dead. Okay, so
And the
I know they were
bartender
big
was
foot-
Dragonborn?
He also
Yes.
won't know that it's you anymore.
Oh, that's why.
I mean, he only warned his fellow Dragonborn in Draconic. He didn't warn the rest of us. He might not give a shit about it.
You
That's
didn't give the
valid.
note to anybody else on that bar table.
He gave it to the only other white scale dragon.
I'm going to quickly see if I can see what made these footprints, and then I'll circle back to that.
So you're following them into town?
Yeah, but not
Just casually following.
just if it keeps on going. No, I'll go back.
Well, after I'd say about a minute, they have continued into town. So if you keep following, however, roll me a perception check with disadvantage because of the snow.
13.
13. It is hard to see, but you do see in the distance, probably a good 30 feet ahead of you, as you're following these footprints, a large shadow. But it's because it's at an angle where you're going downhill, the shadow is further down the hill. So it's almost like a smaller version of a large shadow, but clearly not human or humanoid sized.
Big.
Definitely not as big as something Actually, I don't think you would have seen giants before.
So
From where your history is, yeah, you've probably never seen giants, so this is probably the biggest thing you've ever seen.
so if it's walking away from
Where you're at, yes, it is walking away
where
from
I
you.
am, where
Where they are,
she
yes.
is, where Serenity is, then I'll go back and I'll hop into the bar we just came from and peek in there very
There
slightly
are
and see how many people are
Bodies all over the place.
And the bartender, is he still there?
He is
or
not.
anyone else?
There are no other individuals. They have all left.
Great, I'm gonna loot the fuck out of that place.
They're,
That's my boy.
so okay, roll me a investigation check.
Get me a double-handed magical vorpal great axe.
Wait, what did I?
Investigation.
There is no honor.
Do I
among
get an
thieves.
advantage?
You do not. Especially because everything is covered in blood, which means there is a hard difficulty of spotting.
Well, that's on that one.
I mean, all of them seemed well off to do, though any value in their clothes have completely gone because of the blood stains that have just soaked through their clothing. This was definitely not a clean fight. This was definitely brutal as you could possibly be, almost purposefully. So not the fighting of a warrior, but the fighting of a slaughter. So almost to send a message to whoever witnesses this first. You notice all of the weapons are clearly stamped into the tables on the nicer tables where some of the bodies have been laid and have been left, not even picked up again. They've left all their weapons they used to kill these people with. I mean, they're giant-sized weapons, so like they're great axes, great swords.
Can I take one for him? Would it fit him?
I mean, any of the great axes or great swords would.
Well,
I mean-
I'll take the nicest looking one.
With a 5 insight, you take the nearest one you find.
Okay.
So.
I appreciate the effort, though. You might get lucky. You never know.
But you notice that any pocket money doesn't seem to be any visible pockets or visible like coin purses
Sucks.
I know we've
flying
been
about.
sucking with
This
the rolls,
sucks.
man.
It's this
I
table.
got my good roll. Like
Roll
first.
me a Constitution saving throw, by the way.
Wait,
This guy.
am I not inside? That's
No, you're inside.
16.
16. At first, all of a sudden, you feel very uncomfortable. Like all of a sudden, a weight starts to drift onto your shoulders. You feel incredibly fatigued. But you push and try to shrug it away. And it's about to take hold, and you fight it off. But you felt like for a brief moment there, you were about to lose consciousness.
Oh shit! I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm going back to the room.
Make sure you get me a good great axe.
Oh, I just
So as you just grab the axe out of the table and run out with it, the door closes behind you, and all of a sudden you breathe easier, even though the snow is now hitting you heavily. The weight is
I'm
gone.
gonna try and wash some of the blood off in the snow of the axe before I walk.
All right, that's easy enough to do. It's pretty fresh blood.
Nice.
It doesn't stain the solid metal too well. So,
That sucks.
as you enter into the back entrance again, seemingly unspotted by anybody in the bar, you walk in and everyone is just patiently waiting. Your hour is up, so all of a sudden, the little mouse into the
A
full
mouse to a rabbit.
full grown
3.5
bunny
rabbit.
rabbit.
Oh, I'm gonna tell everyone what I saw. Guys, into town, I think it's a giant. Not a little one, but like a big giant.
Like a full-grown giant.
Like a full grown giant. And that bar across the street. Oh, here, I got you this. Wait.
Ooh, a +5 Vorpal axe. You shouldn't have.
Roll an investigation check.
Fuck, dude.
Stop jinxing
I'm
it.
just gonna fucking call
I
it.
think we need your
A fucking 2.
A 2.
It's
This axe is a piece of shit. It is a piece of shit axe. Yours is so much better. Looks like they got it off of the,
Timu.
assembly line of the basic military crap that you give to the lowest end soldiers.
well,
I
maybe you
really
can
don't
sell
trust
it.
you.
I don't
What
trust
can
it.
give away products that cheap?
Nothing.
And not to mention the shipping and taxes. Oof.
I don't know anybody that's been like, wow, I'm so glad I bought this piece of shit off of Timu. I know somebody
My
that.
kids have said that.
Well, they don't know what they're fucking talking
Don't buy anything off them then.
I did Wish
Oh, I know.
a couple times. I'm like,
about. Yeah, Timu is just Chinese Wish, and then Wish is probably already Chinese Amazon.
It is.
it is.
I did use Wish a few times.
There's a reason why
and
Amazon will never be supplanted.
No, they've pretty much conquered.
They don't have a
It's
competitor.
like saying there's ever going to be a more
Clothes from
iconic
Wish.
fast food chain than
That's
McDonald's.
actually
Yeah.
It ain't
well,
gonna
and
happen.
The thing is, they're cheap. So like, I went to Best Buy
Like
because
Coke
I needed
owns
some
so
like
many.
Yeah,
cables
Coke.
for my
Who do you
stereo.
think when you say soda? Coke.
Yeah.
Pepsi, maybe, but
Fuck
majority
Pepsi
Coke.
shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Most
It's
people are
not
going to
because I
first
live in
thought
Atlanta,
is
it's
going to be
just- I
Coke.
don't like that.
It's just
Sorry,
not good.
don't mean to offend you, Pepsi drinker there that I say. But yeah, so I went to buy some cables for my stereo. So I go to Best Buy. It's like $40. I go to I'm right there. Let me check Amazon. It's like $12.
I do that every
Fuck
time.
you,
Yeah,
Best
I go to
Buy.
Best Buy. I'll
I'll
check
watch it.
what they have. I'm
I
like,
want to get out of my fucking house. I'm
Yeah.
okay with running an errand and buying a thing, but then you get there and it's $50, and why not get it from Amazon for a quarter of the
I
price?
know.
well, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's my problem. Like with D&D products, like all of these local stores. I want to support my
Right,
local
and they're
D&D
too damn
store,
expensive.
there's a good
but they
website
cost
for it.
twice as much of those D&D stores than
Yeah.
they do online.
Yeah.
See, if it's like the computer that I got, though, I'd rather be there to see the computer, read the specs, and actually.
Sure.
Now, yeah, when those
Certain
kinds of
things
situations,
you
like,
wanna
yeah, you
be
wouldn't buy a car
hands-on.
online.
No.
Though
I
some
agree.
people do.
I don't buy
CarMax
clothes online for
or
the
what is
most
it called?
Oh,
CarMax.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I buy
Okay.
shoes at the store because then I can
Yeah,
try them
I
on.
want to try the damn shoes on.
Exactly.
I go to
That
get
is.
shoes, and
Check it
they're
out.
those are roughly the
What
same
is it?
price because
Yeah.
Reebok
They
is
have
Reebok or whatever.
TV wall mounts.
Like, that's not quite the same
everything
where people
we
make,
can think
like-
of.
All right, so
Anyways, yeah.
back to the game, though.
Back to the game.
Um,
How
yes.
we got sidetracked.
Damn it, Timu.
That's how it happens.
I'll own that one.
All right, guys. So
Just
the
Taylor.
bar is poisoned over there. It was really a mess.
Poisonous.
Yes, I couldn't breathe on the
All the flatulence from the dead bodies.
That's not. But you said they were killing everybody.
Well, they are already dead now, apparently.
roll me, you specifically, the rest of you wouldn't have any answer in this. Roll me an intelligence check. Just straight intelligence.
That's gonna be a good one.
You get advantage on this one because it's military
You
related.
want to try mine? Try the whole.
Yeah.
Just try the whole setup.
Oh, it's nice and heavy. 12,
So it's intelligence.
11.
11. With your military background, though you mostly fought everything head on, which is the honorable way, you were definitely in many situations where people would use underhanded means to weaken the enemy before the assault took place. So you get the sense that maybe this feeling he was under was something that was being brought through the air before the slaughter happened to make it a little bit more easier on the less amount of individuals.
Interesting.
Because you did notice that the
befuddle them
let's
kind
say
of
the
thing?
6 giants definitely were outnumbered by the amount of dragonborns that were there.
Right.
So,
So then
and
they
in this
took
world, hardly anyone doesn't know how to somehow defend themselves, whether it's
Right.
magically or physically.
So you think they might have put something there to befuddle them,
Yeah,
and then they had some type of antidote, maybe? Interesting.
something like that. But,
Definitely not the tactics you're used to for your people to use, but
We're more dragged.
Tell you what, there's a bunch of dead bodies. I couldn't find any coins on any of them.
and you did notice the bird folk also had vacated. All of them had left, which means, and they weren't dead. The bird folk and the orc that was guarding him was just, they walked out. So they definitely were not part of the slaughter,
Interesting.
nor was the black scaled dragonborn who had warned you. However, the only one of you who did take notice, Pidgewick, you did take notice that he definitely seemed like a similar design to the feather feel as the flock, as you did your investigation when you were there last time and you asked.
Yes.
They definitely had the same feather plumage as the flock did. Not just the same species, but almost the same locational
Do you have any
differences.
like charm spells or anything?
If it's an animal, yes.
Turn him into an animal first.
Oh.
And we got a transformation spell. Man, I wonder if that would work. Could you use polymorph on a creature and then use talk to animals on it?
I don't see why not.
I was going to
Depends on how
say,
you
turn a
follow
human into a dog and then do the charm animals
Depends on how you
spell.
follow the
I got
magic.
And it's just like, what good is just a
Speak
charmed
with
dog
animals.
now that like it
Locate
can't
animals
speak
with
and it doesn't have
plants.
thumbs anymore? It's not nearly as useful.
I mean, if you could speak to, if you're a druid who has druid speech,
That's true. If somebody else in the party had speak to animals and you do all that stuff too, where you turn them into
it's
an
like a
animal and you
combination to like make anybody talk to you.
You gotta suspend your disbelief.
I was about to say, yeah, it's like that's
I would
yeah.
say
I
yes.
don't
Why
see.
not?
Yeah, I don't.
That'd
yeah,
be a
if the
fun little
rolls-
thing to
if the
do.
rolls
It's
all
just like
are high enough.
how
Then
to completely screw over someone's attempt to hide. Just turn them into an animal and then force them to talk to you.
Yeah,
That's
I like it.
brutal.
that's a
I
fun
like it.
game. Give
All
me-
right,
give
so
me
we
that
got a
choice.
storm, we got a giant, we got dead things. What do we want to do?
Or just hold up in this room.
I'm pretty sure we're supposed to stay.
Okay. Stay in the room and guard them. We'll wait, see what happens.
All right, so are you guys going to have a watch then tonight?
Yes.
Oh yes.
All right, so who would like to take first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Alrighty, roll me a perception check.
And then her hours surely up, right?
At least that's
Yeah,
a
I
little
had
bit
already
better.
turned
I, that's what I thought.
16.
16. As the rest of them get a attempt at some rest during this troubling time, you keep your ears and eyes open, and you start to notice the snow seems to dissipate after the first few hours of the night, almost unnaturally,
Hmm.
as the clearness starts to take over the town, Whereas a snowdrift could last almost days, as you have experienced already. Other than that, the amount of snowdrop has created now this just large imprint of snow. But there is a clear outside your window, a clear shot to the statuesque on because you're on the places on the one end of the tavern. So through your window, you can spot that there are huge, giant-sized footprints walking just straight through the middle of town.
Not doing any damage, just walking.
Just
through.
walking.
And we didn't even like detect like.
And now that you get a better look, they're coming clearly from the direction of that bar
The footprints are leaving the bar.
and heading into
How
the.
the fuck would we miss that? Interesting.
I told
Anyone
you
see a
about it.
25-foot giant drinking a beer?
I told
No?
you about it.
But we didn't know that it was leaving the bar.
From what you could see, though, you couldn't see them coming from the bar. So this is the first time that there have been a notice of them actually from that direction. But
Okay.
from what you can tell, there's no screaming about, no running about. So the town is not. There's no alarm has been set off. Nothing.
So it's just quiet. Do I see anybody? Like, we have windows, right? I can poke my head out the
That's what
window.
you just saw through. That,
Okay.
Yeah. Because you're on. Basically, like I said, there were 3 rooms that you all had, and you had
Yeah.
the one that was toward the window.
So we're still asleep.
Yeah, because he's on the first watch.
So I'll look out, the different windows to see different angles around the building. See if is anybody out and about. Does anything look afoot?
From what you can tell, doesn't seem to have gotten anybody up or anybody's
Weird.
notice.
Okay. I will stay at the ready.
All right. So as your watch continues on, who would like to take the next? All right, Pidgewick, as you awaken, roll me a perception check for the night.
Thank you.
19. You do take notice about mid to the midnight itself. You notice now there is some hubbub going on out. As you look through your window at the far end, pointing toward the church, you see individuals coming down from the high point of the village where the church is located, dressed in white robes, all very well-to-do. And then the majority of them are all dragonborn, all different variant colors. You have a white, you have a black, you have a silver, and then all 3 of them are taking note of something. It's hard to see from your window as they pass through, but you definitely could hear loud, raised voices of panic now coming from them. It's hard to tell exactly what they're saying because they're speaking Dragonic, but they definitely seem to be uncomfortable. They don't go to raise an alarm, but they seem to be definitely trying to get, as they run back up towards the chapel now. This is all taking the span of basically a 15-minute mark of them observing something and then rushing back to the church.
And other than that,
Other
from
than
my
that-
window, I can't see anything. I don't see any footprints or anything.
Not from your angle, no.
I wonder if we should have confirmed like whether we traded notes on ship swap because surely he would have had to work.
That's
I would
fair,
give, I'd
yeah.
give him a download.
Okay.
But I kind of feel like if we've already agreed that we're on the
Yeah.
lookout because we know something fucking weird is going on.
So basically, yeah, I'd say if he told you, then yeah, you can pretty much discern they
I
just
would
saw
know
the
that like yeah,
footprints.
that he saw the giant
Yeah, I
footprints.
go, hey,
And
by the
probably
way,
saw the bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But so I don't necessarily see any footprints, but I know what he told me.
Yeah.
But I do see all this like the dragons collecting info and then like hurry.
Oh yeah. They are
And
panicked.
And the snow is continuing. Is it dissipating
So-
still, or it's just kind of at
It's
a weird?
it's pretty much gone at this point.
Okay.
So now it's just
So
now
what are the Dragonborn doing?
the 3 priests were basically walking down. They didn't seem to be going to investigate anything. They seemed to just be walking down, maybe doing some kind of morning practice or morning prayer. But then they saw something, investigated, and flipped out, running up back to the top of the church in a 15-minute portion of time.
Probably the bar.
Yeah, they didn't like go inside anything, right? But they were. I could sort of see that they were looking at something.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Something definitely caught their eye.
So I'll just make a note of where they were. But all right, well.
And as that passes by, who will take the next watch? Roll me a perception check. 10.
What's
Your
my
mind
level
is
five?
very distracted. This is one of the, living with your father as you have. You've seen some bad things, but he has pretty much sheltered you from a lot of it. You know your father's not the most ideal individual when it comes to his job, but you do know that there are some things that are bad in the world, and this is definitely some of the worst thing you've heard of. The concept of an entire bar full of individuals being mercilessly killed. You know, the way your father tells you is sometimes he does bad things, but they always have a purpose. There's never any senselessness to it because it's the concept of you only can run a successful business if you're doing everything you can for that business. Nothing is wasted. There's no point in doing anything for revenge or any other gain. It has to be something that is fought through. So this is really racking your brain. So it's really distracting you from being able to see or use your other senses. Because it just doesn't seem like this makes sense logically for anyone to do. There's no gain in it. All right, so with that last moment, then I need Jareth to roll his perception for the last watch as the sun begins to rise.
23 for me, and then I can
23.
do the bird.
As you have sent out your bird as well, with that 23, I'll just give. You notice many individuals have started to enter into the town now from the outskirts. All of them seemingly dressed in very fine armor, pretty much like the fanciest plate armor you've ever seen, dressed and drabbed around dragonborn shaped bodies. And they seem to be marching in a kind of succinct order, guarding an individual or somebody in the middle of them, walking up towards the bar area.
Where the slaughter happened.
The trail back?
Trail back.
Because we're in kind of like a hotel.
Pretty much, yeah.
Trail back is purely a bar.
Trail back is purely a
Okay.
bar.
Interesting.
So I have a suggestion. You should disguise yourself again as a dragonborn.
Well, I thought
And
about it,
see what's going on.
but I
I'm
also
not
don't
going to go
speak
as a
dragon.
half giant.
I don't speak dragonborn.
Oh shit! There goes that idea.
But they seem to be military for sure. The garb they're wearing, you have seen once before when you were doing a job for Black Scale. These are definitely individuals of the Imperial Guard from the
What
capital,
language do they speak?
Dragonic.
Which none of us speak.
But
Dragonic?
they seem to
I
be
do.
not
do.
panicked, but they definitely seem to be investigating specifically now as they're following these large footprints up through the town.
Is it the
checking.
same area that the other ones from the chapel freaked out at?
No, this is at the bottom of it. They're following them up towards where that was.
Okay.
So these
I hear what
footprints
they're
went
saying?
all no, not from where you're sleeping still to get your full rest.
Oh, right.
So as they're coming up, they're basically investigating the bottom parts of the village to see what damage has been done by this giant. But seemingly there's been nothing. There have been no damages to any of the buildings, no damages to any of the area, just large footprints walking through the village towards the tavern. And now, as they're walking into the tavern now, you can see that the guards have actively come out. The individual they're guarding, you're getting a better look at now. It is a sapphire crystalline dragonborn.
Pretty.
Roll me a history check. Nine. There's something that catches you with that. Something in the back of your head that you should know, but it just leaves right as you have it. He
That
seems
old
to
man
clearly
syndrome.
be the important aspect of it. He is dressed in a
Where's my
large,
keys?
like almost personalized silver armor set, and he has a long silver spear on his back.
I want it.
And he seems to be discussing or talking with his soldiers, and they're all just starting to charge in now into the tavern. Every night, and then for the next basically part of your watch, you witness them come in and out, burying the bodies, covering them up, basically trying to cover up the situation as they also start to cover up with snow all the footprints as they've come up.
So is it pretty close to? Have they gotten a full rest? Everyone.
Yeah, everyone at
Can I
this
get
point would
off?
have woken up by the end of their basically of this group of individuals wrapping up the situation before dawn. So you gather they were trying to do it before the village woke up.
All right.
So
So
it's like pretend like nothing happened.
so
Interesting.
I'll explain what went down.
And they're
So we have
they're
a
clean
couple
up.
options here. We could just get the fuck out of town and head to the capital. B, we could investigate further, but there's a chance they could accuse us of this. Any of it.
Maybe we should go talk to my brother. Maybe
Not a
he'll
bad
know.
idea.
He might.
He's
know.
probably the only person we could potentially trust.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm wondering is, for footsteps as large as or like footprints, I should say, that were left behind in the snow, would we not have
Vibration.
something tromping through
Yeah.
the town like that?
And it seemed to bring a snowstorm with it.
Right.
So I
mean,
will say, actually, with that in regard, roll me a history check because you would know this.
I would. Can I
Yeah.
borrow that?
So roll with advantage.
he's really advantage.
Oh, that's terrible. That's really bad. Can somebody else do it?
Make the bird do it.
Yeah, the bird.
He gets 23s on the shit.
Does anybody here have nature?
Me.
All right, roll me a nature check.
I do at -1.
I rolled it. I had like a
That's pretty
7.
good.
by the way.
30-20.
30-20. So what did you roll?
Anybody want to
I
borrow
think
the
it was
penguins?
history.
Right.
I want to say it was. What was my first roll? Was it a 1 or a 7?
Fun, I thought.
Okay, then a 7.
7 total. Something catches your
Wow,
mind
that's
just
good.
enough to really click it of a giant. And then your nature check, hon. As you hear the term giant, you think giant, and you think the concept of something somehow being stealthy as a giant, and then you remember the conversations they've all been having. There is a specific giant type that is exceptional at hiding their steps and hiding themselves, known as Umbryl Giants.
Oh,
These creatures are born in dark places and live their life stealthing around larger creatures such as giants who are full grown versus Umbrals, which are basically the half size of a full giant.
So Umbral is another
Pretty
type
much.
of
They are
half
the
giant.
equivalent of a dark giant.
Oh, Umbrals aren't the size of half giants?
No, Umbrals are still
I add this
giants.
info.
So
Oh.
they're,
Cool
but they're not as big
Right.
as like an Etten or
So
a
they're
full
like
frost
20
giant.
feet tall versus 40 feet tall.
Pretty much.
Gotcha.
But more like 15 feet. So they're big, but not huge for a giant.
so but the footprints we saw were
4 feet.
that was the big guy. That was like
Yeah,
so
that
a
that's
40-foot
that would
tall-
fit the concept of a 15-foot.
Oh, 15.
If it was,
Would it?
yeah, if it was like 10 foot,
big old
that
feet.
would be the frost giant. Frost giants are huge. Like
I know,
frost-
I'm just
I
trying to
thought it
the
was-
proportion of like a 4 foot foot span compared to a
Yeah,
15
I'm like
foot.
6'2", I got a
Yeah.
12-inch foot.
He's got big old bozo.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are
big
big
old
damn feet.
He'd be kind of silly.
I mean,
looking.
hey, monsters and creatures and whatever.
Yeah, he'd be silly looking. That's good.
That's why he's so mad.
Umbral
Right.
giants have soft feet, so they're very
big
leathery,
soft
and it pretty much helps them to stealth in the dark caves they dwell in, so they don't make any of the monsters hear them when they're moving around.
So that's got to be the
Borag.
Borag
or
guy.
one of his minions.
because he's an Umbral giant.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's an Umbral. Or so the history.
So there could be all kinds of crazy shit going on just at the same time. That'd be nothing related. It could be just a general war between the half giants and the Dragonborn, and he just happened to be walking through at that time. Or they're all, because they said it seemed like they were waiting for something. Remember?
Yeah, they
Well,
were waiting for
and
him.
then they fucking showed up in like the wee hours of the morning to clean it up. Though. That's what.
But that was the guy that got killed.
I was gonna say sometimes too many coincidences overlapping each other lead to a centralized reason.
Right.
Literally just watched another episode of an anime that was like all of these little accidents and murders all led up to one thing right in the middle.
Well, you definitely gathered that the individuals that were at the bar last night were clearly not part of any imperial aspect. The way the giants were dressed, and there's no giants as you know of to be in the imperial service. But who knows?
Weren't we supposed to go instigate a civil war or something?
No, you were supposed to prevent the head of the religious sect of Suki in the capital city from expanding their territory.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the capital city yet.
No.
Yeah.
I know,
You're
but I
going
thought-
to
I
basically
thought maybe
negotiate
it was-
with a priestess
I
to
thought
say,
maybe it
please
was
stop,
spilling to here.
expanding your religion.
Yeah, I had some
Good luck
main
with
points
that.
written
Yeah.
down. 'Cause, yeah, one of them was to talk to Suki in the capital about that. Let me see what other things.
Well,
were.
should we go
Then we
talk
had to talk
the,
to the Temple of Dirge because of the Dirge.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then the
'cause
Dirge
that's
guy
the other
hired
thing.
you, basically saying, without your
And they're
consent,
dragonborn.
And
you know,
then
go
my
do
dad
this.
wanted me to talk to somebody.
And then mainly
your
we're
dad
supposed to go
wanted
meet
you to
your
go
uncle.
to your uncle
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you guys can establish a better communication between the two organizations. So somehow he wants you to negotiate a underground connection. So basically putting your uncle in a bit of a predicament because that means half of it's on him to get the messages out and the other half's on your father. But basically he wants more of a direct communication line to know what's going on when it's going on. So
Okay.
that if that means stealing a magical item for communication, that's what he's basically wanting your uncle to do.
So should we go investigate with the Dragonborn or just go to?
No, I
the
think let's
upkeep's
investigate
house?
because I don't know how much my brother will know. I would like to think if my brother knew anything,
He would
that he would have been
give
like,
you
"Hey,
a heads
dude,
Right.
This
Don't
was
stay in
the-
town
obviously
tonight.
didn't
You
right,
should move
come
on.
with me to my place."
Right,
or-
something.
He wouldn't have even taken
He
us to
won't
that
know.
bar.
He
right?
won't.
Yeah, that too. He would have been like, let's not go in there.
Unless he secretly hated me because I used to bully him.
Right.
Fuck him.
But yeah, no, that's a good point.
That's
So,
a
yeah,
long.
let's-
That's a long play.
That's a real. Yeah.
Plus, there
Die,
were, there
brother,
were the
die.
footprints.
Long
going
live
off.
the king.
The footprints out the back of the bar were going which direction? North.
To the northwest.
Northwest.
Is that the same way that the capital is?
It is in a kind of a roundabout way. So
Alright, so
going
works
west
in our
takes you
way.
to the capital. Northwest takes you to a small village that actually is more of the. It's a small dragonborn village that's kind of small end. It's called Takashi, and is basically just a midway point for people who are leaving the capital to stop by, get supplies, and leave.
I wonder if that place
Well,
has
maybe
been
we should
decimated.
warn them.
We're out for ourselves, but I wonder if they were decimated.
I mean, Dragonborn.
Yeah, that's I like. Is there any half giants around town, or are they all scattered? when the Dragonborn
As you
came
all
in?
have entered back into the main part of the bar, the Infernal 2 and those 3 giants have left.
So they finally
They left, yeah. The bartender.
so that's the thing is everybody. It's like this whole town is in on it though because everybody
it's
knew
like
to stay
children of the
still.
corn.
Yeah, there's something about it that definitely reeks of some kind of conspiracy.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's grill that damn
Because
bartender.
Everybody knew.
The bar is currently empty now, except for the 3 goblinoids he has as waiters.
So we're gonna say, dude,
Is
don't
he there?
pretend nothing happened. We know something went down. What the hell's going on?
I cannot speak of anything specifically. There are eyes everywhere. All I can say is you are best to stay out of it. From what I understand, your job has nothing to do with this. Just keep out of it.
Except for my brethren butchered some dragonborn.
I
And
know
don't
nothing
know
of
why.
this.
Yes, you do.
I don't know anything about any butchering. Never heard of anything. And you can't prove anything. Been here. I have 5 witnesses plus my own staff that will say I have been here.
It's right there as a guilty conscience. Do we not have some beguile
You know,
or
her
control
your-
person or
isn't your
any
dad a
spells?
Dragonborn?
Mhm.
Okay, so if he knows something about this huge
Does-
Dragonborn slaughter, your dad's Dragonborn, then you might be able to.
I mean, she,
Well,
well, the
They
bartender is
probably
also
adopted.
the bartender
Yeah,
is
I
also
agree.
dragonborn.
But
The
Yeah,
bartender is also
this guy is
dragonborn.
also
He's
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn.
oh, he is.
that's why he was he didn't realize that was Hex's
Oh.
daughter.
Because he was expecting a
Because
dragonborn.
yeah.
Oh,
Right.
So he's fully aware of all the
He's
things.
like,
and
"You
he's
got a
still
colorful
pulling out
family."
on us. Yeah. I mean, if he's
This
gonna give
doesn't
us-
seem to be a racial care situation. This is more of those specific individuals, dragonborn or not they may have been,
Right.
were the targets.
You know what? Let's just fuck off. Okay. Take his advice.
Yeah. This is
An
I
excellent
think-
idea.
This feels a bit.
I
bigger
think we
than
should do
us.
a cursory investigation with the Dragonborn there
We can do a
as
little-
we're leaving.
Yeah, we
So
can investigate on the
we'll
way out
kill
of
2
town.
birds
Can,
with
can
one
I
stone.
can I describe the fancy pants guy to everyone to see if it's they might know who that was. Didn't I roll totally fail a history check? There was like a
You trying the red dragonborn that you saw?
yeah, he had like a full
The one they
armor,
were
like a
guarding.
spear.
Oh, the crystal.
Yeah.
So you described that. That actually is all you need to do is describe it, because the individual who knows the most about that, Pidgewick. Pidgewick, you don't need a history check to know. Crystalline Dragonborns are royalty. That is the only way you will ever meet one. There are no chromatic nor metallic. Only crystalline born are royalty. You will not see them as anything else. You will not see them as, regular soldiers. You won't see these kind of Dragonborn anywhere else except the royal palace. So if this man was really a sapphire Dragonborn, he is royalty. He has some blood relation to the emperor himself.
Interesting.
Where?
He just walked up from the front of the
They
village.
also came like just with the rest of the guards from the outskirts.
So they know something's up. Now here's the thing. How
However,
many were there?
there was a full troop. So there were
So
there were
they can't
20
hide there.
Yeah, there were 20 soldiers along with him.
So they would have left tracks, and so we would know where they came from.
Yeah, they didn't hide their presence. They made sure people knew they were there. So
Does it
they
drag
don't
any-
seem to be trying to hide themselves. They seem to be trying to hide what happened.
We could ask the church on our way out
Weren't
of
we
town.
told to not go?
Oh, were we?
Or was that just if we've been drinking?
No, you're basically told don't go up to the church if you have any ill intent. But this is the bartender who told you this. He
Oh.
basically said stay away from the church people.
We don't have them.
They pretty much run this town. They pay for the majority of the taxes to this town. So
I mean, I did see them quite freaked out, and if we're gonna piss off anyways, like we can at least ask a few questions on the way out of town. I don't care.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't really
think it's.
respect what they do.
We can casually walk by the bar and kind of see what the hell's going
The
on.
bar or the church?
The bar,
Is
where
it
everyone got
cleaned out?
butchered.
Yeah, didn't they already cover it
Oh.
up?
I don't know. That'd be kind of curious to see.
Okay, let's go.
Let's check it out.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely good.
Let's do it.
Let's go
It's
see.
not uncommon to go get a
Or-
beer.
alrighty. As you all gather, I'm guessing you're all gathering your stuff and checking out.
Yes.
Yes.
So as you check out, and
Just in case we truly.
you
need
get
to
a
piss off.
last glimpse of the bartender just waving you goodbye. Please don't come back soon.
I'll flick
Don't
him
worry.
off- Flick him off on the way out.
As you guys leave and walk out, all of you see in the far distance of the bar two fully armed Imperial guardsmen standing guard outside the front door
Oh, our?
of the other tavern,
Trail back.
Where all the shit went down.
of the trailback.
Well, they're not going to let us.
No, but so here's the thing: we can always pretend like we don't know what the fuck's going on, and we're just gonna go, oh, yeah, we're just gonna grab a beer.
Could disguise self as
I mean, the
Emperor,
best
Yeah,
way
right,
to
go
to
drink.
hear the
You've
saying
never
that-
seen the Emperor. Nobody has ever
Or
seen the
the
Emperor.
But
royalty,
the
best
sapphire
way-
crystal and
Sap-
stuff that
that
you
guy.
can see.
You could.
The best way to hide is in plain
Dare you.
sight.
It's
right?
the only.
Dare
I
you?
was say it's the only crystalline dragonborn you've ever seen,
Weasel.
so that's the only one you can
Into
take the
the
shape
cell.
of.
But I should be walking around town with a backpack on
Just,
And a bird.
and a bird. Let's
just weasel and dig my
I'm
way
one of
into
his
the snow and,
bastards.
like, dig my way past them.
I'm a royal you don't know about. One of his
That was deep
bastards.
enough. I could just dig.
You could try.
I can't speak
now let's.
Germanic,
I
It's
can.
so
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
You
that'd
can
be
turn
pretty
into him, and I
awkward.
can be like under your
Yeah.
hood.
Walk up, speak common.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
Everything
no,
would
like,
be a
guys, no,
disadvantage.
I've got a plan. Let's just play it cool. Just play dumb with me. I'm just gonna approach and be like, "Hey, fellas, sorry, I heard this place has the best spiced potatoes. Can we grab one real quick? We're on our way to town."
The one standing next to the far right of the door, so
Oh,
basically on
okay.
your right. Sorry, I should double tap.
Stage left.
You can't tell what
That's
color
gross.
dragonborn they are, but the armor of the helmet echoes the design of their head. And as they stare at you, you're welcome to enter in if you so choose. That is your choice. We do not run this establishment. We are simply the guards. Enjoy.
What are you
Sir.
guarding?
The individuals inside are of importance to us. That's all you need know.
Well,
Okay.
now we have to.
So,
go.
I mean, we're not like crashing a party, right? We can just grab some potatoes and be on our way.
I just walk
You're
in.
welcome
Yeah,
to
let's
enter
just
if
go
you
in.
wish, sir.
I
The
just walk
bar
in.
is open.
Let's
Yeah.
go in.
Fair enough.
I just
Let's
walk
go.
in.
Maybe we can trade information because
Yeah.
we have a little bit.
We shall enter.
As you all walk in, it is loud and bustling with tons of people running around with drinks. You see tons
go
of
down.
soldiers, some with all of them with their helmets off, dragonborns of different variant colors, and all of them are just enjoying food, enjoying a drink.
Are they all Imperial
They're
soldiers?
all Imperial soldiers.
Is there anyone else in the bar?
Just the bartender, I'd assume.
The bartender at the very far end,
Is one of them our buddy?
he is a black scaled dragonborn, but now he is dressed in a very fine white shirt and the finest of boots, walking around and asking everyone for their specific order while instructing what appears to be a goblinoid orc who is in the back cooking everything.
But does it look like our buddy?
The orc looks like the buddy that you met yesterday, and so does the black scaled dragonborn.
No, I was gonna say the black scale.
He does
He was-
indeed
My
resemble,
buddy, I mean,
though
the
he
one who
is
gave me the
cleaned
note.
up if it's the same one.
I mean, that's
He,
fine.
he was the one that gave me
That's
the
no.
Could be. He looks the same design. Basically, he
You
looks
don't
so
look the
cleaned
same,
up.
though.
He looks so
Yeah,
cleaned
that's
up, you
okay.
can't really tell if it is him or someone else. That's how gruffy and messed up he looked last night. Also, the one last night had a bit of a kind of messed up chip to his horns. This one seems completely cleaned.
So it seems.
Not our
Seems
buddy.
different, but it could also be him. That's the
Why don't
the
you
tricky
play
part.
his-
Look at him
Roll-
Roll-
closely.
anybody would like to roll an insight check?
Of course. Give me some good
Petty
scores, motherfucker. Oh. No, I got a plus. 13.
13. Could be the same guy.
14.
Just can't tell. Probably could be him, but
I'm gonna go talk
What
to
did you
him.
get?
I didn't
Right.
roll.
No, you should roll. Can I have the thing? Didn't really do it.
Welcome. How
Pitch
may
was
I
just
help
trying to-
you?
Trying to play it dumb and stupid.
If you would like to
I
take
am
a
not
seat,
trying to
No,
get
I
any
the
wouldn't.
bar
of this.
table over there
Room
is
full of
open.
Soldiers
Mad at
quick
us.
question, friend.
Of course, we here at the Trailback are always willing to help.
You were here working last night.
I am afraid I cannot help you. My shift is today.
Were you the one kind enough to pass me the note at that table?
Okay, dude, don't forget you're disguised.
Yeah, I know.
Not the girl on
I
the
am
bed.
unfortunately not the individual you must have met.
Okay,
We have many Dragonborn of Black Scale who work here.
got it. Who was working last night?
I would have to check the register.
Yes, please.
Of course. I would only need a moment.
It was Bob.
as they come back after about
Or Marcus.
10 minutes in the back,
The individual working last night was named Darren.
You know where he lives?
According to this, he has a small house in the lower part of town, at the town center.
Okay, the last name.
That doesn't like Darren.
He
Give
only
his
has
info for
registered
free.
here Darren.
Right?
I'm unfortunate I do not know all of the other fellow employees that work with me.
Got it. I'm hoping to give him a nice tip.
Oh, that is very kind of you. Of course, I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Yes, I just have to be able to.
Of course. Well, like I said, the description is quite vague, but that is not uncommon for people who come in and work for a brief time. Perhaps this Darren is only a temporary citizen of this village. Enjoy the rest
Is
of
he
your
lying?
time here.
roll an insight check.
Well, it's not that
Thank
bad.
God we're not
12.
battling.
12. He seems genuine.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Of course. Yes, sir, I'll be right with you, of course.
So I'm gonna go up to the bar where some of the other soldiers are.
Alrighty.
And
The
just-
large circular bar that used to have the bubble no longer has the bubble and has been cleaned and polished. And there are many soldiers sitting at it.
I'll just kind of scooch up between a couple of them, nod and smile.
They all just nod to you. There's a green scaled dragonborn and a blue scaled dragonborn just kind of, bow to you in respect as they hold up their glasses. And they're not drinking out of steins, they're drinking out of nice glasses.
I'll just say, so what brings you to town?
We're just walking around with our soldiers for patrol, and we figured we'd stop into town for a drink before we continue on back to the capital. It is always so nice to see a very kind and welcoming village.
Pretend to be him this time.
So
Because you're
nothing
blue.
brought you into town? There was no events? Nothing.
No, we patrol through here many times during the year. This is just one of those times. Just trying to keep the peace, make sure everybody is
Can I
protected if
tell
they
if
need
he's
it.
lying?
Roll an insight check.
I'm just
Give me a
standing
decent
there,
roll.
kind of staring in awe, amazement at the
Oh,
coloration.
finally.
Kind of wondering what it feels like to pet it.
19.
Which one?
The blue one.
The regular blue one?
Yeah.
You're not seeing the crystalline one, just the blue scale. You've seen blue scale people before.
I've seen blue before.
Yeah, the royal
Yeah, this is
guy-
chromatic. So this is not
Oh.
this is not the crystalline.
I thought
He's
I've only
not in
seen
here.
like the black and white ones.
Roll a perception check.
I got a 19.
19.
I want to look for the
He
blue.
is good, but you can see there was a flinch there of like he
No.
was reciting
Something
a
he was told
script.
to say.
It's at 23.
23. There does seem to be what appears to be in the far back where the kitchen is, to the far left, where that smaller bar table was last night. There seems to be a private door, and through there you can tell that there's some noise coming in, almost like a private party. But you don't necessarily see him specifically through that.
Well, I think I'm going to say it very hushed. Slang guy. Let's just go talk to him.
Easy when you
Here
get
with
killed.
20 armed guards, they have people outside the building.
And
Do
usually
we have
do.
information that might help them?
Do we?
Yeah.
Yes.
This place was poisoned. Everybody in town seems to be conspiracy. Maybe they don't know that.
Didn't you watch them clean it up?
Yeah, we did.
They're in on it.
Well, they don't want everyone else to know.
They
Or
don't want
they're
anyone
the
to
ones
know
in
it.
They're the ones who
charge.
showed up before dawn to clean
I don't
up the
think. I think
mess.
they
They're
just
the
want.
ones in charge.
Like he saw people get murdered in this room, and now there's not a drop of blood in it. And guess who is here? These people.
The Dawn
I don't
Father.
think this is who we're meant to be talking to. I mean, if you want to have the bunny charm you for a minute, and so you get like extra lucky or some shit, you can try, but I will miss you.
I do want to keep my eye out for any easy marks.
You have to roll a perception check for that one.
You just see a dice fly across the room.
We all could roll.
Oh, I've been rolling like shit. You know
Yeah,
what
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not confident in my rolls tonight.
What am I rolling?
Perception.
Perception.
16.
Well, that's not horrible.
These are soldiers. They tend not to.
They don't seem to have pouches around. Majority of their belts seems to be weaponry,
Yeah.
except for the exception of those who are wearing crossbows. So they have a lot of spare ammo on their belts. So you don't see anything worth of like a money bag.
Okay.
And you also notice that though everyone is enjoying drinks, nobody is paying. There's no currency being dropped on the table for it.
So,
It's just being covered.
should we just get out of here?
Yes.
I think this is a bit much for us. We're
Yeah.
not detectives.
Let's continue on with.
We've got our
This
mission
is an
already.
interesting.
If we want to go talk to the church folk on the way to town, that's fine.
Let's
I don't
do it.
care.
We don't need to snoop too much.
Like this makes me very nervous. There's about 18 armed dragonborn,
And royalty.
and they're drinking. Like who knows?
And the royalty, and they're all coming. I
They're-
want to know.
Like
they
the,
killed.
the blokes that I saw, they were properly freaked out. They saw something and ran back to their little parish. So
where were they looking when they freaked out?
let's go check.
Let's check that out.
We're gonna go to where I
Saw
where
them
I
freak
noticed
out.
the dragonborns taking note of something before they fled back to the church.
Oh, I have an idea too. Really quick, since my background is essentially like a thieves guild, and I have
There it is, criminal spy.
criminal
Okay.
spy background. Can
Me
I
too.
decipher if thieves can't anywhere, or I figure out? I noticed someone who might, be part of the underground.
No, you didn't really see anything with your early perception. It seems pretty up and up. Whoever these individuals were, they clearly weren't working for a guild organization that you would be aware of. There's no noticeable symbols, and you would be able to see it if there was. Alrighty, as you all leave and head toward the kind of farther northern part of this small little area of taverns, where the individuals you saw were flipping out, seems to be all of a sudden now you notice there are 2 new guards as you walk up toward that part of the village. Not specifically guarding anything, just standing at attention and observing around the area. But they definitely seem to be around the area you saw the individuals flipping out.
Okay, so at least lines up. All right. Well, good news, bad news.
Do we see anything?
Nothing. Seems just clean white snow.
So it doesn't matter if we like roll for a. Perception
You're
or
welcome to
anything.
do so, yeah. If you want to roll perception, go for it.
I mean,
Or-
it's like, because I know they came over here, saw something, and freaked out. Christ,
13.
might as well not.
What are we doing?
perception.
30-20.
For what?
Just to see if we see anything where I'm saying that I saw the dragon.
So you would notice this with your dirty 20 and with your nature ability
Hee.
being wind or having snow as your main part of your background. The snow is fresh, but the snow has been messed with and altered. It has been like cleaned and straightened and put flat. So something has been flattened down unnaturally. So it, like when someone would pick up snow and throw it and then pat it down to make kind of a fort, that seems to be what's happened to the ground here.
It's been kind of forted down.
Mm-hmm. So somebody has been deliberately covering stuff in snow.
This is how y'all are gonna figure this out. I'm just gonna go, turn around. Can't really snow angel in this. Ow.
You all right there?
It's patted down. This is not like freshly fallen. And I get back up.
I'm going
Can
to.
we help you? As one of the
Ah!
guys
I
walks
was
up.
gonna say, don't worry. My friend just fell down. I'm going to fake falling down too, just to further disrupt the snow. I'm like, oh Jesus
Oh my
Christ!
god.
Or no, I
Dog
can't say
pile!
Oh,
Please
Gurge.
be careful. That's all I can say. Enjoy your days. As they walk around.
Snowball fight.
One of the guards that was just kind of observing and walking around the small area.
I threw a snowball.
Quiet.
You initiated that.
So are we going to the?
Yeah, but like as I pretend stumble through the snow, I'm going to like sort of feel around and see if there's like anything that feels weird in the snow.
It's compacted down.
Something, as you fall onto it, there is something clearly that has unearthed part of the ground and made it uneven. So even though this was a a nice walkway, it has now definitely have been disturbed by something heavily
Stones.
disrupting
Like
the
a
stones and the
foot.
dirt, making it.
Okay, so it was dirt below, but it's
It was dirt and stones creating a road, but yeah, it's definitely been messed with.
Like a giant.
Well, I can't really tell much, and I still don't trust these military goons. Let's just go to the church and then fuck right off.
Okay, church it is.
As you walk up to the Church of Dirge and you see the very nice symbol of the snake-like dragon on the front of the door,
Of course it
um,
was.
in like an ornate silver-line design. As you walk up, the doors just seem to open on their own, and you hear like an echo of a voice. Welcome.
Don't look bad. All right, well. Hello? Anybody in there?
Doesn't seem any response. Seems to be that more than likely the door's magic was automatic.
I don't want to go inside. I want them to come out. I want to get locked inside.
I'll say.
Well, we could always jam something in the door so it can't close.
Right, how about you stand in the door?
That's fine.
Hell, jam it.
I don't wanna use
We'll
my
wedge that
axe.
piece of shit great axe.
Tries to
right
close
right,
on
that
him.
shitty new axe that you got.
Tries to close on him, just shatters.
there, right?
Well, I'm only going to take a few steps inside. If I don't see anybody, we're going to fuck right off.
Okay.
I don't care about this that much. It was weird. But again, this is not our job.
You take a
So-
step in, and you do see the 3 individuals you saw last night. One of them seems to be the head priest at the front, kind of, helping what appears to be a few individuals of half giant and dragonborn kind of do their sermon and kind of private preaching to them. The other 2 seem to be standing around with what appears to be small bowls in their hands, like at attention, like waiting for donations. One of them seems to be holding a bowl full of water. The other one seems to be holding a bowl full of what appears to be shiny coins and donations.
So the main one is busy, like proselytizing at the moment.
He looks up to you as you enter in, almost like he can sense when someone walks into the door. Please, come in, come in. Doors welcomes all, please.
No, that's okay. Just gonna add a couple of questions. I was more kind of hoping for a quick private conversation.
Of course, private prayers are, of course, always welcome. Excuse me, my children. Please be blessed by the great dragon. As he stands
I
up and
really
walks
wanna
over to
test
you.
Something.
What is?
Please,
I have a
sit with me.
I have
As
such
he
a big
takes you onto the
curiosity.
sit on the back, the furthest
Question
pews at the very
about-
end of the chapel. It is a small chapel, despite the building kind of being a nicer, bigger outwardly. It's got 2 rows of pews, all long enough to sit probably about 10 people per pew. And then there are 10 pews per row. So at the very far back, you guys are sitting, and he sits down with you. Now, please tell me what troubles you, my child.
Well, it's funny you should put it that way because I'm kind of curious about what was troubling you.
The eyebrow twitch.
I unfortunately cannot answer that question. I am not too sure what you mean by this.
I saw you and these 2 fellas come not long after the snowstorm was over. Weirdly quickly over. You guys saw something that you really didn't like. You hightailed it back here.
May I ask who you are, my good child?
I am a traveler. I happened to run into a church fella back where we started, and
The first town was by Kingu.
that's right. I was like, well, I mean, I kind of nobody, but just
Shut up.
more trying to make sure that like everybody's okay. You seemed quite scared. Just wanted to offer my potential help, if not just condolences.
As he looks around, I understand you are scared, my child. But I promise you, it is nothing that you need to worry about. We were accosted by dangerous ongoings last night. There were dangers in the snowstorm that we were not expecting when we were traveling to do our nightly walk. Unfortunately, it shocked us to a point in which we could not bear to stand it, so we came back quickly to say prayers for those that we saw in their estranged positions.
Right, so I guess that's the thing, was we saw the giant footprints, and you're not really talking about being scared of a giant, and now you're telling me about people in estranged positions, so I guess maybe we just kind of meet in the middle, because I assumed that maybe you saw the giant, or maybe some of his goings on.
Whether or not it was a giant remains to be questioned. But we clearly saw the devastation done by whatever creatures would create such atrocities in our fair streets.
That's the interesting part, is that some other fellas came from another part of town and immediately covered it up. So there's no trace of atrocities. There's not even much trace of the giants. They've packed all the snow down. They don't want us to. So it's just interesting that you live here, and you're aware of some kind of atrocity that's happened. Other people who showed up, seemingly from close by, they're trying to cover it up. You would think you would be at odds with them, and yet.
We have made sure to inform all those that were involved of their family's loss and have said prayers. But every individual is aware of the delicacy of the situation. The individuals in question were of great importance to the Empire. That is all I can say on that matter. But it is best for people to not worry too much at the time. We are still on a precipice of talks, and avoiding conflict is the best solution.
Well, okay, I won't argue that. I'm not trying to throw a wrench in the works. Let's just say this. We have some friends in some places. One of those places happens to be the city where we're heading. Is there not anything that we could do to prevent further said atrocities? There's nothing you won't do. Prayers.
Unfortunately, with the situation as is, it almost appears that if we did take any actions, it would ensue more violence in retaliation, which may be the perpetrator's purpose. You understand my meaning. This clearly was not done as a method of random slaughter, but clearly a message. Somebody does not want these talks. Somebody wants a war. This is, of course, against my teachings. So I am here doing what I must do for Dirge to keep the peace.
Who opposes Dirge?
Sitting there going like, because there's something I really want to try, and my curiosity is going to kill me.
You just do it.
Do it.
Dirge!
Praise Dirge.
Oh.
What did you think was gonna happen?
Sometimes back in the other village, if you just randomly shout out Dirge, you'll get a lot of people kind of starting to do that, and they'll just answer doing the same call like a big
Like, what's that?
like a big coup of chickens kind of, and I thought it was the same here.
Oh.
I wanted to like verify that was a thing.
There are those who practice such a praise. It is practiced many times, depending on where you are. We, of course, go to the more quieter areas. When you are around a great amount of snowdrift, it is best not to shout out too loudly.
Sure.
Yeah, that is true.
That's
I have
valid.
been buried in snow a couple of times.
But I do understand the practice, and we respect it. We just choose to only do it when it is appropriate.
Got it. But that does confirm my suspicions. It is actually a thing. It's not just crazy people.
So
No,
who-
yes, many of our new individuals who
Who are they
find
possibly
faith
at war
will
with?
shout out in
That's
their
what I'm trying
enjoyment.
to. I don't know if I remember enough.
Just ask.
Yeah, who are you at war with?
Yeah. Who's trying to
I
start a
mean,
war?
if you're just kind of over here minding your business and doing dirt stuff, why would people possibly take anything
They are not taking anything out on us. We simply came across the situation. We
Well,
have
like,
nothing
it
to
seems
do
like
with
a
the
very
individuals
small-
who have come in town.
It's a pretty small town though, and it seems mostly dragonborn with some half giants. So, like, what possibly, for a political or any other reason, could there be for this kind of atrocity in such a town?
If too many dragonborns are seen killed by what appears to be a giant, then of course people will insist that the talks with the giants
So
be
who does? What's
ended.
his name? The Umbryl
Borag?
Borak. So was this Borak?
I do not know if it was or was not this individual you speak of. I do not know many of the military situations. I am but a simple priest.
Okay.
And yeah, he's giving us more information than anyone else.
Urge teaches us honesty in all things, but safety as well. I did not know who you were. I did not want to incite conflict, but I can tell that you are not on a side of this particular conflict. Mostly just curiosity and fear for your own safety.
Sure.
Pretty much. We're, if anything, also trying to prevent further conflict because we just were nearly a part of it last night. We're definitely trying to learn what we can to stay out of trouble and not die.
This is most wise. I hope you will continue to take this practice as you continue your journeys. The
Yeah.
world is in a dangerous state.
Seems like it. Appreciate the help. Any final tips before we go?
Yes, always look at the world through peaceful eyes, and only take actions of violence to defend those who cannot defend themselves.
Or you know what?
Kick him in the balls
You
on
are
the way out.
You are currently my favorite dirge guy. The other
Same.
one was not nearly so nice.
Unfortunately, many of these individuals who rise to the hires are corrupted by the power granted to them.
Oh, the power of
Even
money.
those who follow the great dragon are not immune to the corruption of power.
I'm tempted to agree with you. What? I feel bad. I didn't ask your name.
I am Father Jalusu.
So it's been a pleasure. I hope these atrocities leave your town no more.
Thank you. Enjoy your rest of your journey, and may Dirge protect you.
Third.
And also with you.
Dirge. It's kind of quiet.
All right, so we'll head out. We'll start heading towards the capital. Like we
So
were
do you
going
want to
to.
go toward the north where the footprints are headed, or not even just
Do we,
stick to the
well,
road?
it's
or
kind
what?
of along the way.
Yeah, because didn't you say it was kind of roundabout? Like the
Yes.
footprints are in like a general-ish direction.
It almost
that
looks
we were
like
heading?
the giant's footprints were deliberately leaving.
Almost like a red herring.
And there were
Yeah.
only a few giants, right?
Only a few half giants were actually part of the individual
And
situation.
those were the same ones that ripped off your brother.
Though
same
there were
ones.
3 old men who seemed to be joining in on it.
Yeah, there were 3
have also
farmers. Were those farmers? What race were they, by the way?
they were half giants.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't remember. There's because you called them farmers for some reason in my head. I was picturing
Like I said,
Bums
they
that
very
I
much
love
they
them.
very much looked like the same shape and body shape of a T. You know,
okay.
long hard workers on the farm.
Yeah, let's. It doesn't kill us to take a slight side path.
Okay.
Curious to see what this giant's footprints.
Might
and-
get that money.
right? Let's get those bastards.
As you all head out, the footprints are long gone, but the directional situation you're heading toward, I'm assuming, is the same. So as you take toward the northwest from the town of Pomchi, heading towards what appears to be a small river line before you reach the destination of Takashi, which is a few days' journey from here. So depending on where you're heading, it may take you a long time to get there unless you are finding someone on the way. So it's up in the air. So as you all begin to follow these tracks towards the individuals and where they potentially lie with their intent, we'll end it there for tonight.